We're back. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I know I didn't.
2 out of 3 people here did have a good one.
A little update for everybody out there. 4th of July is my favorite holiday. If you didn't know from the last episode that I said that. So my roommate came down with COVID.
Yes.
Tested positive. So I immediately had to go and test for it. What's that?
She ruined it.
No, yeah. I'm not going to go that far because I know she listens to this. So.
Oh, she does? My bad.
Sorry. But so I immediately had to go and get tested myself.
Yes.
And so I was quarantined for a straight week.
Yes.
It took me a week
3 to 5 days,
results.
they said, for the turnaround
3 to 5
on the
days,
results.
and it took 7.
Took 7.
To get my results, and then it turned out negative. So I was pissed I didn't get to have a 4th of July.
Yes.
But
you missed out.
You missed a lot.
I got fucking hammered.
I saw the videos.
Yeah.
I saw the videos. And anybody wants to see the videos, they are on Twitter. And I believe Facebook too, right?
Yes.
Or Instagram.
Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
So go on there. You can check them out. You can see Ken
next year,
doing
I'm
dumb
already
shit in the middle of the road with...
I was on the sidewalk shooting a 180 Roman candle shot. No, but next year I've already got a plan.
Half safe.
We're going to do 10 around each arm of 180 shot Roman candles. And we're going to come out to Slayer's Angel of Death. Just dun-dun-dun. And I'm going to come out in a fog machine. I have to buy a fog machine this year. Unless somebody has one. I need a fog machine.
We're going to get high tech.
Yeah, I'm going to make an entrance to this thing.
You got a strobe light too?
Yes.
For the fog?
Yes.
Goes
I'm
in there?
going to have to. That goes on the list. So I need a strobe light and a fog machine. And then 20 Roman candles that have 180 shots in each one.
Well, if you do all that, all the lights will be there, especially the red and blue ones.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be. Yeah, they might show up, and I'll just run away.
I can't believe they did.
Well, you can't catch shit, so I don't know how long that's
going to last. Shit. I get to the corner of the street, like fuck.
Can we take a break? I need a 15-minute break.
You guys are dicks for chasing
me.
Go
to commercial.
I have a thyroid condition. I can't run.
Anyway, guys, welcome back. I got a quick joke for y'all.
Okay,
right.
Why is 6 afraid of 7?
Why is 6 afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9.
Oh my God!
We're on episode 9, everybody.
Wow.
Thank you.
Nice
I take a bow for that terrible dad joke.
That was terrible.
Episode fucking 9 though. Check it out though. Fucking 9.
9.
If you think about it, because we're going to be recording episode 10 here real shortly.
Yes.
That is 20 hours of listening to us out there that people willingly do.
And if somebody's done all 20 hours, I'd like to hear from you.
Oh,
to see what your mental state is.
Yeah.
And then give us a list of prescription meds that you're taking
so we know what to recommend to the other listeners.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to the Adulting is Hard podcast, the Ken and Kyle show. I am Ken. Over there is that piece of shit, Ken.
No,
I'm Kyle.
You're Kyle.
Wow.
But I'm still Ken.
I don't even know why I would never want to be you.
No, everybody wants to be me.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I am Kyle.
And
that guy over there is Ken. And in our third chair, we got Timmy.
What's up?
Timmy. So everybody, we are really excited to be back for you. We actually have a fucking awesome show this week. So I don't know why, but for some reason, people thought it was a good idea to come on to this show.
I mean, all we do is ask, and they're like, sure, why not? And I'm like,
yeah. Actually, the line literally was, and this is straight quote, sure, period. What the hell, period.
Yes,
I'm in.
Yes, this gentleman said that back, and it made me feel really comfortable with doing this, because I was like, he's in.
And that guy, if any of you guys are sports fans out there, if you guys watch
particularly
football. Particularly the NFL, you will know this guy. His name is Mike Giardi. Mike Giardi from the NFL Network is going to be coming on here on our show for an interview. And we are extremely excited to have him.
I am so excited for this right here.
Oh, we got
crazy amazing.
So many questions for this guy. And I'm just humbled that he's going to be on here because this guy's I watch him all the time. Especially during football season.
Anytime you watch a game, you get a sideline report, you get an update, or if you watch NFL Network, you see this guy on there.
Yeah.
I mean, just constantly. But like I said,
he interviews all high profile players. He does, Pro Bowl.
He's talked to Hall of Famers and
Hall
stuff.
of Famers.
Yeah.
He does Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, like all those kind of people. He interviews this guy. This guy's a multimillionaire.
He's a legend.
I don't know why we're talking to him. Why is he want to talk to us?
Because like I said, one positive of the COVID-19 is people have a lot of free time. And I'm assuming that some of these folks that have interviewed with us are really, really
Yeah,
bored.
what the
And
hell?
they're like, why
I'm
not?
just hoping that he's listening to every episode. And he's like, these guys are fucking awesome.
Yes,
I
yes.
want to be on their show. God, I
will-
hope they send me a message.
I'll take that clout. If he says so, yeah, I'll take that clout right there. In a heartbeat.
And next, we have Francisco Gonzalez. He is an indie video game
Yes.
designer, developer,
RPGs
creator,
and stuff, yes.
writer, artist, all that stuff. And he's going to be coming on. He's going to be explaining a couple of games that he has developed over the years. And his new one that he has coming out, Rosewater, which
Yes.
looks awesome. It's a Wild West kind of action-adventure point-and-click game. And it looks awesome. I can't wait to play it. It'll be a fun game to kind of
I'm going to
download.
check them out. They're on Steam, so we'll make sure his links are in there.
Yeah, definitely. We'll send the Steam link where you can check out all his games and be sure to go down there and download them, give him a try demo or whatever you want to do, and check him out. He's an awesome dude. So we're really humbled to have both of these guys on our show. We're gonna have a great show today.
I don't know how we're going to follow this episode up.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to do next?
Well, and then after the interviews, actually, we're having a new segment come on that we're calling Killin Brain Cells.
Yes.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a terrible music video from a terrible artist and we're going to break it down for you. We're going to listen to it so you don't have to. We're going to explain the lyrics. We're going to explain what's going on.
They're going to listen to it with us.
We're going to listen to it so they don't have to, but aren't we forcing them to listen to it?
Yes, we are.
I mean, back up here.
That's
Well,
how
they
we roll.
don't, okay, they don't
That's
have
how we
to
roll.
watch it. They don't have to watch
They
it.
don't have to watch it because that's the terrible part.
They just have to
of it,
listen to their ears
is the
bleed.
So
visual
their
of it.
eyes don't have to bleed,
Yes,
just their
it's the
ears.
eardrums. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do some weight training on the eardrums. Get them
Right.
So, exactly. So we're going to be breaking down a music video for you today. What's that music video, Ken?
Oh, it is Trollz from Takashi 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj.
It is
Of all
cringeworthy.
things.
It's
Yeah.
cringeworthy at best. I
This
don't
is
know.
the only reason why I will watch this video.
Is because we're breaking it
Because,
down.
yeah, because we're going to break it down. Because other than that, I can't handle snitch, bitch, ass people. I'm going to say that right there. I did.
And you just start calling them Karen
Takashi
6ix9ine.
No, it's
Karen 6ix9ine.
Karen 6ix9ine. Yeah, just calling the police on everybody. Just telling everybody snitching out. Yeah, little punk. But it's okay. I'm not like angry at him. Just,
No.
How do you really feel though?
I think he's a punk bitch. He's gonna get his. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, he's gonna get his.
You know, if Takashi, if you are listening,
Yeah, I'll
if
square
you
up
are
with
out there in
Takashi.
the ether,
Dude, celebrity boxing match, me versus you.
at me.
At me, bro.
At me.
dude. Yeah. No guards, no nothing, dude. I'll throw hands with that little bitch.
Yeah, send us an email. We'll meet up.
I'll beat the color right off of him. I'll beat the fucking
adultingisheart@gmail.com.
Skittles off of his hair and his teeth. Oh, no. You don't even know, bro. That dude.
And then after, followed by that, we are going to have the everlasting Florida Man article
Yes.
that we're bringing to you today. We found a nugget.
Oh, yeah.
A nugget for this one.
It's
gonna
never
be fun.
hard.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, they're not hard.
No, Florida is it's a swing state, right? Don't they consider it a swing
You
state?
can spend- yeah.
It defines it
You can spend
Presidential elections, and it's-
365
Yeah. Oh,
days a
yeah.
year going through
And
a
find
Florida Man
something every
article,
day.
and then
Every
once
day.
366 starts, you get a new article for another
I
365
used to
days.
say Florida is just where old people went to die, but
No.
evidently it's a little more influential than I thought.
I mean, bath salts and genetics.
70% bath salts and 60% genetics, right?
I mean, we've had some good ones already. Where
Oh,
we
yeah.
had the guy who had the gator with the drugs.
Yes.
He denied having the gator as his, but he totally opened up about the drugs.
Well,
being
because
his.
it's a felony to have the gator, not the drugs.
Right?
Right? And plus, you don't want to give up the drugs. You claim them. You might get them back. Most of that stuff you can buy at a
slip
gas
the
station.
cop a
but-
20. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, here's $20, bro. Blue Lives Matter.
Good Lord.
But first, we're gonna have that Francisco Gonzalez interview coming up for you guys. We're gonna take a quick break.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and stick around for that. You're not gonna want to miss it. Be right back.
Has the COVID-19 pandemic had an adverse impact on your business?
Are you ready to see customers walk back through your doors?
Here at Adulting It's Hard Productions, we understand that times are tough, and you may be struggling to keep your business afloat, and that's where we come in.
For a limited time, we are offering production services at an exceptionally discounted price. Go to www.adultingproductions.com to learn about our services and how we can help boost your brand and rebuild your client base.
Using our state-of-the-art equipment and software, we tailor your company's message and your advertising package to meet your needs. We handle the entire process from production to airing with absolute transparency.
Contact us today for your free no-obligation consultation and see why so many others have turned to Adulting is Hard Productions for their advertising needs. Simply go to www.adultingproductions.com and get your business back on track today.
Adulting is hard, and we're here to make it a little easier. And with us, possibilities are endless.
Boom, boom, boom. We're back from the break, guys. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are going to continue on with this epic episode that we have
It's pretty damn epic.
For you guys. Yeah, you guys are so damn lucky that we are here providing you with extremely awesome
They should feel
content.
that way.
That's
They
right.
should feel that way.
If you're listening to us right now, stop and go buy a lottery ticket and then come back and listen to us again.
And give me
You're that
20%
lucky.
of your winnings.
20%.
20%, that's all I ask.
By listening to this and then you actually following our directions, you have signed that.
It's a contract. It's a contract.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Just by listening, you're bound by that.
Or send us more hate mail. I mean,
But
yeah, we're always good with that.
Continuing on with this epic content that we have, we have
Absolutely.
Francisco Gonzalez on the line with us.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for joining us, Francisco.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a big pleasure to have you on here. I know Tim is a gigantic nerd when it comes to this shit. And he's a huge fan of yours, so he's super excited about having you on.
I'm sitting here vibrating in my chair. I'm like,
Is
That's
that
the
reason
chair.
you're vibrating? Come on
That's
now.
the chair,
hey,
actually.
hey,
You see where you ordered it from.
But thank you so much for joining us, Francisco. So for our listeners out there, can you just give us a little introduction about yourself, what you do, and kind of how you got started into it?
Sure. My name is Francisco Gonzalez. I am an independent game designer that focuses on point-and-click adventure games. I literally make games in my basement, and I've had the very fortunate opportunity to be able to do it as my full-time career. So at least for the past few years. So I basically just, played a bunch of old adventure games growing up, thought, oh, I'd love to do this. I found a program called Adventure Game Studio, started
Yes.
doing it, and then got really lucky and started doing it for money. So that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome.
And if only we could do that.
Yeah.
We
I don't have the creative talent to do it.
What are you
Anybody
doing? How
can
do you
do it if you put your mind to it. You can do anything. I'm
his
here to give you.
positivity.
I'm here to throw out the platitudes.
There you go. Because I would look at it and be
We'll
like,
take 'em all.
and I would just hammer the keyboard and be like, ah.
Now, Francisco, you have an amazing collection of games under your belt, and everything from Ben Jordan to Shardlight. So, was this something that you saw, growing up through your whole life? Is this something that you've always wanted to do, or is it kind of something that eventually crept into your life, and you're like, you know what, this really would be awesome to do?
Yeah, I think more of the latter because I liked adventure games as a kid, and I still played them into my teenagehood. I don't know anyway.
Close enough.
I played them growing up, and I in the back of my mind I always thought it would be cool to do this, but I didn't really have the means to do it because I had no programming experience. But then I just happened to, when I was in college, rather than actually paying attention and going to class and like doing college work, I was like Googling Adventure Game Maker. And so I found Adventure Game Studio, and then just learned how to program with that engine. And then, kind of just thought, okay, well, let's keep doing this.
It's a good story. I mean, everybody starts different. Like with us, we started day drinking, and for some reason, the idea came like, for
Kyle-
whatever reason, hey, let's look at people want to listen to
It was
us.
the most out
let's
of the
make a
blue thing. Yeah.
podcast.
Kyle's like, let's just do a podcast. I was like, fuck it, why not?
all
Yeah.
good things start with alcohol. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's a good launch point.
It's a great launch point.
It
Now,
gets
about the crash landing that comes later, we'll see.
It's the creative juices that start flowing.
Right?
But Francisco, you have an upcoming game that you've been promoting a lot, especially on your Twitter, and the trailer looks fucking awesome. Actually,
Oh, thanks.
it's called Rosewater. For those out there who want to check it out, it's called Rosewater. It's an action adventure Wild West point and click game that looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. So, where did you come up with the idea for this?
Well, thank you. So the game that I released most recently is called Lamplight City. That came out in 2018, which was it was a detective game. And in the course of designing that, I wanted to like do a detective game set in the Victorian era, but I didn't want it to be specifically like historically linked to any particular place. Like I didn't want to set it in London, for example, or like in New York. So the way to avoid having any like have to stick to history complications was I just came up with an alternate history. So I made up this whole alternate version of the US called Vespuccia, which is still a Commonwealth country, never declared independence, which gave me a little bit more leeway to play around with things and not have to stick with, it was basically like the city was a best of hits of like 19th century detective fiction. So it was kind of a mix of London, New York, New Orleans.
Nice.
Yeah, so with Rosewater, I thought, well, I've spent all this time creating this world. I want to explore more of it. And it's the mid 19th century, mid to late 19th century. The obvious logical step for me is to do a Western. And on top of that, there's not that many Western point-and-click games. And the point-and-click games that are Westerns are usually comedies. They tend to go more the Blazing Saddles route.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, I've always wanted to make like a real adventure story, like in the vein of something like Indiana Jones or Uncharted or something like that. So I thought, well, let me take a crack at making a Western. So that's where the idea came from.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I love point and click adventures.
Shadowgate.
It
kind of
Shadowgate
really brings it back to the
Shadowgate, all the way back to the first point and click on NES.
Yeah.
I was going to go all the way back to the mid '80s. Okay.
You like point and click because you're
special.
Your ability to that too, but your ability to hold a controller is usually out the window by what 6:30.
Oh no, by 10, 11 o'clock in the
10,
day.
11 o'clock.
Yeah. I start day
Especially when you're
drinking. When I say
making a
day
podcast.
drinking, I mean day drinking.
Wow.
So besides Rosewater, are you working on any other projects right now?
No, Rosewater is pretty much front and center. Yeah, I always like to try and have at least a couple of ideas for projects in the pipeline because, part of the way that I try and ensure that I'll still be able to do this is to have something else that I can jump on in case the current game I'm making bombs. So I have a couple of ideas, but I haven't actually started any real work on that yet. That usually happens like towards the end of a project. Like once all I have to do is just like record voices or do the bulk of like the design and everything is done. That's when I start kind of getting into the headspace for my next project. But yeah, to answer the question plainly, Rosewater is the only thing I'm doing right now.
Okay. And do you usually launch? Do you go right from one into the next, or you kind of take a break in between to come up with the new ideas, or is it kind of very, at the same time that you're creating one game, you're already starting, the structure for the next one?
So ideally, what I should do is take a break, but I don't because I'm kind of a workaholic. Yeah, I actually kind of burned myself out at the end of Lamplight City, and I had to force myself to take a 3-month break and not do anything and not start full steam on Rosewater. I was lucky enough that Lamplight City did okay, and I didn't have to like scramble to get something else out. Because the thing with Lamplight City was, not to get too long into a story, but during the development of Lamplight City, I didn't have an income, so I was kind of just burning through what I had managed to save up from the previous games. Because Shardlight, I was paid a salary to work on that one. So once that was out, there was no income between then and whenever I released my next game. So I was kind of feeling the pressure to get Lamplight City out as quickly as possible. But now that, Lamplight City is out and I still have a Golden Wake that I also get royalties from, I at least have something coming in, so I'm not as freaked out with Rosewater. So my hope is that Rosewater will do well and I'll be able to take a better amount of time. Although, given the current situation, it's not like I can travel anywhere and take a nice vacation. But maybe by the time Rosewater comes out, that'll be something we can do again.
Yeah,
So,
I think we're all kind of hoping for that. We're kind of just locked down and
you've got kind of like the perfect job for this COVID thing. I mean, you kind of have socially distanced to make this work.
It's funny because, like, honestly, like aside from the fact that like I was never like a super huge social butterfly to begin with, but I would go out, at least a couple of times a week. Aside from that, like I'm lucky that my my work life hasn't changed much because I always was working from home. And it's always funny when people are like, oh, does this mean that now you have a lot more time to work on Rosewater? I'm like, no, it just means that I have a lot more time on weekends to play XCOM.
Oh, great game. I was going to mention XCOM. That's like the epitome of that click and point, the original Fallout XCOM. It's just
except I play I play it on PS3. I play Enemy Unknown on PS3, which I mean is
good game.
Same thing.
Yeah. And speaking of voiceover, I'm just going to let you know that Tim over here has done voiceover work. So if you ever need a pale white male, Midwestern kind of guy right there.
Hey,
that's the guy.
Yeah. It's actually funny because, like, you know, I was always very strict about like wanting to work locally with voice actors because I mean I'm in New York. You know, voice actors. There's a lot of talented people out there. Yeah.
Sure.
And I really just like the face-to-face stuff. But now I'm seriously thinking about remote work. And I mean, like, there's always that sort of worry about, there's always like my main concern is always like the difference in audio quality between actors. Sure. But like plenty of people have great home studio setups.
Oh, so yeah. You're looking at one right now.
Yeah, that looks like a great microphone. What kind of mic is that?
That's an AT2020. We're all using an AT2020.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But I've got a collection of mics at the house, so whatever we need to do. And I come so cheap.
I was gonna say, you could bribe them with.
I will work harder for you than an ugly stripper, bro.
Hey,
right now.
I appreciate it, but also don't sell yourself short. You know, get paid what you're worth. Because if there's something I see all the time is voice actors trying to race to the bottom, and that's not doing anybody any favors.
Right.
That's so a bad idea. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you can't go lower than what he already is. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's employed. I mean,
I might be worth more. I'm just a horrible businessman.
Right. Like, we'll give you a Subway sandwich. If it's a foot long, I'm fucking it.
That's awesome.
But Francisco, how big is the you know, speaking of voice actors and all that, how big is the team that you work with? The production team for this?
Yeah, so it's basically just me. I do the art and the programming and the writing and everything with and my composer, obviously. On Rosewater, I am bringing in my girlfriend, who's also my writing partner on this game. She did the script editing and a little bit of additional writing on Lamplight City, but she's taking a more active role on Rosewater. Because like the second part of Rosewater is like the journey that the companions go on, or that you go on with your companions, and there's a lot more like little vignettes, like story-let type things. So I'm letting her handle that, which is cool. So yeah, it's basically 3 people working on Rosewater, but I'm primarily doing everything ish. I feel like such a dick saying that. I'm like, I do everything.
I do
it. But the reason I do it is because it keeps production costs low.
Of course, right? Yes. The overhead. So, it's the overhead.
Exactly.
Make $1, right? Tim?
Yeah.
Can I interject and have my fanboy moment?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have a fanboy moment. You're absolutely welcome.
I don't know, Francisco, are you ready for this? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're about to say.
This might get awkward.
I gotta tell you. So 2004, Ben Jordan comes out, and I am in the military at the time. I got injured. Okay. I'm waiting on my papers to come through. I'm really depressed. I'm really I got to leave the military. This is going to be my career, you know. So a friend of mine introduced me to Ben Jordan, and I got to tell you what, this game got me through some of the most. You know, there was actually a couple times where I was thinking about having a beer or, you know, getting all messed up or something because I was so depressed, and instead I played like 2 hours of Ben Jordan. You know, I couldn't wait to get to that next chapter. You know what I mean? And the cool thing was this kind of branches off into 2 areas with me, because it's Ben Jordan, paranormal investigator, and I have been interested in that my whole life. And after playing that game and getting through all 8 chapters, which the storyline is, I'm not going to give anything away, but anybody out there who has not played this game, you want to go back to a classic. You want to go back to great writing, great voiceover work. The graphics just get better with every chapter. And they've even redone a couple, I believe, with some better graphics, like the first couple chapters they redid, didn't they?
Yeah, because the first two looked terrible,
Well,
so I redid them.
The whole story made up for it, you know.
Well, thank you.
It was like after that, I decided to get into paranormal investigating even more full time, and I've been doing that for like 15 years.
Oh.
So
okay. We're talking about you now. Tell me about that. I want to hear about your paranormal.
Turn the tables.
No, I'm serious. I really want to know. Have you found anything? Have you? Because
well, I'll tell you what. Right now, I could go on a rant for hours and hours about people I hate in the world of paranormal investigating.
Ooh, two things I love: paranormal investigating and talking shit about people.
I like this guy even more. I'm great at that.
So I won't do that right now. Okay. But,
oh my god!
Can
I tell you? I used to love watching. This is such a tangent. One of my favorite things to do on Friday evenings was put on the Travel Channel and watch Ghost Adventures because not because I enjoyed it, but because I called it Ghost Punchers, because it was literally just they took my idea. I wanted to have an idea. I wanted to have a ghost show where some bro just like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm gonna punch you.
Exactly.
Like, they took my idea.
Exactly. The guy gets possessed in every episode. Yes. What the hell? It drives me nuts. Uh-huh. And you have to.
He takes his shirt off. Like, come at me, bro. Come at me.
You literally you have to investigate for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, even to come up with something that even is remotely. Is that something? I don't know. Is that? It's very boring work, but but it's fun. I mean, it's great for a hobby. And Ben Jordan is the push that gave me to just, you know what, the first episode, Skunk Ape, was just amazing. That did it for me. That really did it for me. So I want to thank you for that, for giving me, you got me through that tough time. You got me a new hobby, and I just love everything you do, dude. And Shardlight, and everybody needs to go check out Shardlight, because that's got like a 9 out of 10 rating on Steam, and graphically, it's a beautiful game. I can't wait to play Rosewater, dude. I'm just
listen, thank you. All jokes aside, that really means a lot. Like, that's amazing. That it always surprises me, not only that people have played the games or just enjoyed the games. Like, it's like, I made the games, I put them on the internet, and people played them, and that's awesome. But like, hearing a story like that it actually inspired you to like take up paranormal investigating, that's amazing. That's really amazing. And now I'm going to completely ruin the moment and make a terrible joke and say, so what you're telling me is that BJ's got you through tough times in your life. Which is fine. I mean, that's...
It should be prescribed. Through depression.
They always do. They always do.
Goes hand in hand.
Yep.
I can't go out to the bar. I got to get my nightly BJ.
There you go.
Absolutely.
The whole reason I did that was because I was like a 19-year-old kid, and I was like, I'm going to make a game. Let me call it BJ.
It worked.
His name could have been his name could have been Brian Jennings. It could have been whatever. It ended up being Ben Jordan, but it was literally because I was a dumb kid who wanted to be subversive.
That's great.
It's great. It worked.
I love stories like that.
I love it. That's awesome.
It's a sex joke.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Francisco, when you're making this game, I know there's a ton that goes into it. You probably don't have enough time to explain it, but just in a brief bite-sized bits, can you kind of explain how it starts from the inception of an idea to being released on a platform? Like,
sure.
the process that a game goes through.
Yeah, it's my method has changed over the years. Like with Ben Jordan, I was just kind of making it up as I went along, and then by the third game is when I actually sat down and wrote out the whole story, which is kind of why that's kind of why I went back and remade the first two games, because I wanted to incorporate them more into the overall story I planned. But generally speaking, what I'll do is, I'll come up with the idea generally first. Like with Lamplight City, I was like, I want to make a detective game set in the Victorian era. Like with Shardlight, I want to make a game about a post-apocalyptic plague or whatever. Like the elevator pitch is what I come up with, and then I start thinking about like the setting, the characters, the story, and what I like to do is I like to design the skeleton of the game first, kind of just from the start to finish. What's the game going to be about? Like, what kind of puzzles are there going to be? Things like that. And then I sort of simultaneously, but not really, start building the game using like placeholder art. I'll just do really rough sketches of backgrounds. I'll use the character sprites from other games. I'll plug them in and just have them stand in for the characters and things like that. And then little by little, I'll start actually doing the assets, like the art for the backgrounds, the animations for the characters. My main priority is usually just having the game playable from start to finish as quickly as possible, and then going back and tweaking. And what I used to do was I would write the dialogue as I went and then worry about tweaking it and editing it later. But what I'm doing with Rosewater is I'm going to write, or I have been writing out the whole script first as just a big script, so that it's easier to edit and have it all set in stone first. So then that way I can just plug it into the game later, and then I can worry about the voice acting and everything afterwards. Because with Lamplight City, I basically wrote it all in the game, and then I had to copy it and paste it into a document that then got edited, and then I had to paste it back in. So it was kind of redundant. But yeah, the thing I enjoy about handling the different disciplines is that, for instance, if I spend like a week or two doing animations and I get tired of doing that, I'll just go over and do like coding or something else. And I have the luxury of being able to switch between the things. So if I get tired of something, I can take a break and then come back to the other thing later.
Yeah. Well, the key word in there is discipline. That's why I can't make video games. I have zero discipline.
We have none of it.
Can you even spell discipline?
I'm sure it's got a Z in there, probably a 9.
There's a D in there, all right.
There's a D. Starts with the D.
So, Francisco, growing up, what was your favorite video game playing? What was one that really inspired you?
Oof, that's a good question. I think, well, actually going back to, you were saying Shadowgate on NES, the first actual adventure game I played was King's Quest V on the NES.
Oh goodness.
Which was great because it didn't have any voice acting. It was ugly as hell, but it didn't have any voice acting, so you didn't have to hear that stupid owl. But I mean, as far as influence, I guess that was probably the most influential, because I can remember thinking that I was really just enamored with the whole idea of the point and click adventure game setup. Like, it sounds funny to go back and think, but I remember, like, even with Dragon Warrior, Dragon Warrior was an RPG, but still it had that whole idea of like the fetch quest. And I was like, wow, it's so cool that in a game, like, someone will ask you for something and then you have to go and get it and give it to them. And this blew my mind. I must have been like 7 or 8 years old. And I was just like, wow, this is great. And I don't know, I just always carried that with me. And now I'm like, fetch quest puzzles are shit. You should never do them. So I've come full circle on that.
That's when they're like, I have this overly long quest for you to do with minimal payout.
Right
at the end, you're like, I'll do it. It's a side quest too. So
yeah,
I'm just main story for like 3 more days.
A ton of work with minimal payout. What a great representation of indie game development.
There you go.
It's my life now. Anyway.
So, just real quick before we go, I have a pitch for you. If you're looking for a video game idea.
Oh God, this is going to be
it's a point
really
and click,
weird.
but it's more of a choose your own
Before
adventure.
you're done here, Francisco, you're going to have a new voice actor, a new game idea. We're just going to
this is brilliant.
So
yeah,
you're going to start. It's a choose your own adventure.
Okay.
So 3 dudes head into a basement, and down there, there's a list of, or there's a bunch of selections of alcohol that you can choose from, and so you can choose whiskey or rum or vodka.
Uh-huh.
And then what do you do afterwards? Do you create a podcast?
Do you do anything with your time?
My immediate question is, do the different alcohols have different outcomes or effects on
I was going to say that some give you better charisma, better
Absolutely.
Strength,
right.
Intelligence,
things like that. Some will wipe it out completely. Like a
social
really
awareness.
shitty whiskey will do that.
Right.
Gin will make you stupid.
Wow.
I like it.
Tequila will make your clothes fall off.
No,
apparently.
I'll fight a nun.
Oh.
If I can drink tequila, I'll fight a nun. I was like, you shit talking. I see it.
Wow.
I see you looking at me.
Don't try to save my soul.
Save this. Backhand. No, it's
Wow.
Oh, that's horrible.
But thank you so much, Francisco, for joining our show.
Yes,
we really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
A great look into how video games are made.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, even just from an indie perspective, I mean, you put a ton of work into your games. It goes to a lot of development. I mean, as Tim can attest and has attested, they're fantastic games. So everybody listening out there, go on to Steam right now, check it out, look at his collection, and give them a try. I think you'll really like them.
And don't forget, guys, indie games, they're the way of the future. They let all this great talent build these games that can't get a job. You know, some of these other bigger companies that are putting these games out, indie games are where it's at. And Francisco's got the ideas. So
there you go.
Absolutely.
Hey, I love the indie games on my Xbox. That's at ID or ID Xbox, whatever. Some of those games are just great. Short, but great. That's my only thing. Yeah. And they're cost effective when you're on a budget.
So where can people find you and where can people find your games, Francisco?
Yeah, well, they're on Steam and on GOG.com. You can go to my website, grundislavgames.com. It's GRUNDISLAV games.com. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at grundislavgames there. I think that's everything. I have a Discord channel too, but I have a link to that on my Twitter somewhere. And I also stream the development of Rosewater on Twitch.
That's cool.
Twitch.tv/Grundislav. Yeah, I try to do a couple of streams a week. And yeah, so it's fun. Like, people come and watch. Usually I just will be drawing or doing some animation or something, and people like watching it for some reason. I don't know. But honestly, the only reason I stream is so that I don't get distracted and check Facebook and Twitter and stuff. So, because I know if I'm being watched, I can't
keep focused.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It's totally just for focus. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining our show. We really appreciate it.
Very much.
And guys, we will be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back. We got some more great content coming your way, and then we have another interview with Mike Giardi, so you're not going to want to miss that. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's your buddy Tim here. I wanted to personally thank Francisco Gonzalez for joining us on the show. His games have had a profound impact on my life and many others out there. If you haven't had the chance to check them out yet, head on over to Steam or go to www.grundislavgames.com for his entire collection. All of his links will be in the podcast description. Stick with us because we have a ton more content to get into after the break.
I was just gonna say, I miss
all the
concerts
time.
so bad.
Even shitty ones.
Even shit, dude. I will go see fucking.
We know who you'll go see.
Who?
Britney Spears' sister. Yeah.
Okay,
he did.
Guy, you want to talk about this? Are we going there? Are we going there?
Bring it. I know what you're gonna go with. You're gonna go with on mine.
I was living in Denver.
Yeah.
And my cousin, I just moved there, and my cousin and her boyfriend at the time, goes, "Oh, I got tickets to a concert downtown at the Grizzly Rose."
Okay.
I was like, "All right, cool, whatever."
Tickets to a
She's
concert.
like, "Oh, it's a country concert." I was like, "All right, cool, I'll go." Go, and the main act is Britney Spears'
Jamie
sister,
Spears.
Jamie Lynn Spears.
He would not tell me for hours that day. He would not tell me who he was going to go see. Always he would tell me what concert he's going to. And it took me for a while to break it down. I figured out where he was at.
You fucking Googled it.
I Googled it.
Who's playing in Denver? I'm going to get a text. You're seeing Jamie Lynn Spears, aren't you?
I'm like, yeah, use a bitch.
You didn't want to brag about that one?
He was trying to get. But no, hey, my worst concert I've ever been to was the Dixie Chicks.
Your worst concert?
That's my worst concert because I was dating a girl that said she would buy tickets for Ozfest if I went to the Dixie Chicks. Okay. And I'm not a wine drinker, but that's all they served at this concert was white wine. And I got fucking white girl drunk. on white wine, dude, at the Dixie Chicks concert because that's how I could handle it. And then I went to go to Ozfest after that. So it was worth the trade. I promise you on that. It was worth the trade because I got sex.
I can't say the same in my situation.
Yeah, because you didn't get sex.
I didn't get nothing out of it.
I would have been so angry.
I got an awesome concert is what I got out of it, okay?
I've seen Leanne Rimes.
Oh, God. Is that the one that you were talking? That's the one concert you've been to?
That's the only concert. That's the one concert I've ever been to.
And
I got those tickets for free.
Dude, we got to take this guy to a concert. Like, we have to tell the wives.
Probably not
you
this
don't
year,
have to tell
though.
the wives. Well, not this year. Probably not this year. But when the next opportunity rises that it's safe to go, we'll go to a show.
I was going to go to Blink 182 this year.
Again,
You're
like way off the radar where you should be
but
at.
hey,
dude.
it's a concert. All right?
Well, no. Old school, before Tom DeLonge left Blink 182,
Okay.
fuck yeah, I would have paid big bucks to go see them. Now that he's left, they are a fucking shell of what they used to be.
Okay.
I would not go.
But we will go.
I don't know much about
We're
it.
gonna take Tim. We're gonna go to a Tool
Not-
concert.
oh my
We're gonna take Tim. We'll go to see Tool.
Well,
It's
we were
mellow
supposed
enough
to see
and-
Tool.
we were supposed
They
to
were
see
going to be
Tool.
at the Nampa Center.
And Edgefest. We were supposed to. I want
They
to
were
see
going to be in
Crowbot.
Nampa.
Crowbot
Yeah,
was here.
we were going to see him, and then 2 days prior, they canceled the
Yes.
event because that was the very beginning of the coronavirus
Yes.
pandemic. So
That's
they
when we got
canceled it.
canceled for the NFL draft. We were going to go to see Tool. Edgefest, not too long after that. Everything music-wise, I get it, but it sucks so bad. And then I know they're doing online concerts now. So like recently, coming up, Five Finger Death Punch, and a couple other bands like Motley Crue and stuff are all going to do shows online. It's not the same.
Well, they also
though.
have the
That's
drive-in
like watching
concert.
a concert from your friend's phone. Okay,
Yep.
Which everyone's gone to a show has done that, where they're like hold their phone up and they're like, "Hey, check out this video," and it just sounds like shit. Mm-hmm. Okay, nobody wants to see that. It's
I think
like
that was
fireworks
on
show.
back on our episode like 3 or 4.
Oh, we
when
talked
we
about
did
it.
things Ken hates.
Yes.
And that was one of your things.
Fireworks shows on your phone and concert
videos.
videos. Yes, on your. I don't give a fuck. I've seen them probably, and to be honest with you, your shitty phone. I don't want to see it. Okay, it just sounds terrible.
But now they have these drive-in concerts.
Yes.
Well, they're having it's basically an internet concert, or it's like streaming concert.
But it's like
You
going to the
drive
drive-in,
but you go to the drive-in and they put
Right.
it up on the big screen.
You got to stay in your
It's
car.
like, I'd rather sit at home and watch it on a laptop.
Right.
Now, if
I'm
I
gonna
could go there
watch
and
it
park
to
in
begin
my
with.
car and see them on stage,
Yeah,
Maybe.
then I would do
playing
it.
there?
I would do that shit in a heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Well, then they won't have too many concert goers. They would be spending more money performing.
No,
that
I
than
agree.
they
I
would be
agree that
making.
they don't make money on their record sales like bands like Slayer have been doing it so long. I mean, it was always off of touring. Okay, that's where they made their money, was off of touring, and I get that. But maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's what it comes down to. Maybe we spend more per ticket with a chance at a lottery draw system to go to a drive-in style to see a band.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
then maybe,
but-
I don't know.
Again, I don't think bands would do that because first you have their traveling expenses, you have all the other expenses that go into booking them and getting them there, and then you're only going to be able to provide how many tickets? How many people can fit at a drive-in? Maybe 250.
You charge
300
per
people?
car and per head.
I would charge. I mean, I
So-
would assume they'd charge per head.
Yeah,
but
but
even
one
so,
car takes up space for like 10 fans.
No, I agree. I totally
50
agree. I
fans,
absolutely you're right on this. I'm just thinking, like, would I pay $200 to see a band right now? Yes. I would pay more per ticket to get a chance to go see a band right now.
How about
but not,
Jamie Lynn Spears?
No. I would promise them that I wouldn't get arrested at the concert. Is what I would promise them. I would not.
That's a big promise coming from you too.
It is, because I've been arrested at many a concert.
Wow. We have some great stories. We've been to a lot of concerts together too.
Yes.
We went to Vans Warped Tour. Remember,
Yep.
we met a bunch of them. We met Anti-Flag.
Yes.
What was it? We met Seosin. Who was it? Scary Kids Scaring Kids.
Yes.
There was a couple other ones. Bad Religion.
That was the first time I saw a K-pop band. Remember that? We saw that shit come out there, like Baby Metal.
Where?
Yeah, at Vans Warped Tour, they came out on stage after like Social D was going to play. And before that, and they came out on stage, and the first time I saw a K-pop band.
K-pop
Yeah,
band,
and we just walked the fuck away.
Right.
We were like, whatever, dude. We went.
No,
and-
the best one we walked out on. Remember this?
Oh.
We walked out on Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Before he even came on. I think he was touring with Korn at the time.
Oh, well, it was like 10
For-
bands.
Well,
at the
it was the Rockstar Mayhem Festival.
Yes.
But he was headlined. He was the
Yeah.
main act.
Of
And
all
right
things,
before
I-
it was like
I seen him back in Ozfest. He was great in Ozfest. It was a great lineup.
It was a great line.
Yeah.
It was like Korn. It was Five Finger Death Punch, Lamb of God.
3 Inches of Blood. I mean, all kinds of
Yeah.
side stage bands that were fucking great.
And then Korn came on
Five
right
Finger
before
Death
that.
Punch,
And
yeah.
we stayed through Korn, and then when Korn left, we're like, "Fuck that!" Right? I don't
Yeah.
want to get pissed on.
We
you know? Like,
well, we didn't want that, and we didn't want to fight traffic, so we're like, fuck, I'm out of here, dude. You know what I mean? Because if you caught Manson 10, 15 years ago, you caught him at the his apex, in his heyday.
Sure.
And I seen him at Ozfest at the time. I mean, that was when it was Pantera, Black Sabbath, Marilyn Manson. I mean, that was the kind of lineup back then. And they don't even do that shit. And of course, Ozzy and stuff like that, doing the solo stuff. But Marilyn Manson back then was a good show. But now, no. I mean, he just looks like he's eating a lot of cake. Did a lot of drugs. I'm just going to say. And no, the show wasn't worth staying for. And we left. Yeah, we booked out on it.
You know, and another band I've always wanted to say, I've got a bunch of bucket list bands. So the one that got canceled on us, Tool, is a bucket list band that I wanted to see. Really bad. That's probably number one. But another one I've always wanted to see is Rage Against the Machine. I always thought that would be a fucking epic concert to go to. And I remember years ago when I was still living back in California, and we were partying at my buddy's house. We were doing a bunch of coke and shit. I was young and stupid, doing a bunch of coke and drinking.
That was last week.
And they don't know that. And he comes in the door, and we were talking. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I just went to this concert. It was Rage Against the Machine, Rise Against, and Muse." I'm like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you invite me?" He goes,
right?
I didn't think you'd want to see it. I'm like, dude, I'm about to bitch slap the fucking stupid off your face.
Coke hand slapped.
Yeah, like
overhand top.
Kidding me? Why would I not want to see that? Oh god, I was so pissed off at him. I'm like, dude, that is the weakest excuse saying that. You know damn right I would want to see that fucking concert.
Yeah, there's a reason. He had some chick with him. He didn't want you to go.
I don't care.
Third wheel cock blocker.
Whatever the goddamn reason was,
it wasn't good enough. Me. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. It's one of those bucket lists. So if you had one, Tim, who would be on the bucket list?
My bucket list?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
as cringe as it's going to be.
It's confession time, okay?
Here we go.
So
Nickelback.
No, here's the thing.
Would I pay to see Nickelback right now? Fuck yeah, I would.
No.
I'd go see him.
My band, I don't think you can even see anymore. Green Jelly.
Oh, yeah. Who the hell was in our Three Pigs? And then also they collaborated with Ministry.
Yes.
Jorgensen from Ministry when they did Who the Hell Was in My Room last night. Those guys, I seen Ministry, I seen Green Jelly all up in Seattle, dude. Yeah, I seen them. I seen them. They used to do Pain in the Grass concerts in Seattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember those? Okay, so like it was free.
I've seen pictures. I've never been to one.
I saw bands like Cum Dumpster. That tells you what kind of show it was.
Did you ever see SOD?
Yes. Oh, Stormtroopers of Death? Dude, if there was a band now that would get canceled for anti-Semitic lyrics,
without a doubt,
would be Stormtroopers of Death, which became Anthrax. Okay, SOD had the March of the SOD, and they had songs like "Fuck the Middle East."
Yep,
was one of them. Okay, that was their theme. Was they talked a lot of shit, and this is in the '80s into the '90s. So during that time when we were having issues with the Middle East at the beginning, but Scott Ian, I mean, he's always said that it's still where they came from. And they won't deny it, but SOD was there. To hear that many thousands of people doing the SOD march, in there, it was insane.
It was crazy.
It was insane. That was one of those old school bands right there.
Yeah.
But you couldn't see them now, but you can catch Anthrax with the Big Four. See, but it's not, they don't play any of the songs.
These days, I'm really into country. I'm actually into some of that country hip hop. I love the Lax. I really do love the Lax.
What's the Lax?
The Lax. They're a country hip hop band. They actually played in town over. They do. So I mean. When you think of country hip hop, it sounds very.
I think of
stupid.
Old Town Road.
Yeah,
that's the only country hip hop I know of right now.
No. The Lax do it right. I mean, they're pretty. But again, it sounds kind of pandering because it's all about big pickup trucks and
one
of their songs is kicking up mud. It's a good friggin' but
they sing songs about tractors. I mean,
absolutely.
So there's nothing wrong with it.
So that's what I'm into now. But back in the day, I would want SOD, Sepultura.
Oh, Sepultura, SOD. I'm sure
Chaos AD was one of my.
They played together. I'm sure a number of times. I think I saw them with Suicidal Tendencies at least, or Infectious Grooves, the other band that Suicidal did at the time. I'm pretty sure I saw them back in the day with skateboarding in SoCal. But bucket list, Kyle. Who else? You got Tool.
Well. Bucket list as in
Bette Midler?
Bands that are still around. Bands that are still around or bands if I can go back in time and watch.
So if you could go back in time, who would it be?
My number one?
Yep.
Alice in Chains.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Alice in
Pantera?
Alice in Chains, number one. Number two, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen Alice
in Chains a number of times. I mean, and
early.
No, you want to go early. You go all the way back to when they were in like their weird punk rock stage before heroin.
Right.
Yeah.
It really was before the drugs and before
I'm saying like after the Dirt album came out. Oh fuck, dude, that would have been an amazing concert to go to.
It was sad to see them back then that way.
Yeah.
You could see what was happening. But you wouldn't go back and see Pantera.
Oh, I didn't say I wouldn't.
Oh.
Hell no.
I mean, number one, I've seen it at least 9 times, I think, before all that shit went down.
That's this many.
It's like whatever. Like, is that many on my hands? I think 9 times. I can count. But I'm just saying, like that's one of those shows that you go back and you see it and you don't forget.
Yeah.
And
that's just I would have loved to see them.
Okay.
And Jimi Hendrix, of course, the fucking rock and roll god.
Yes, absolutely.
And Forever 27 there.
There's a lot of them in that group.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The one band I'd like to see today, 21 Pilots. I like 21 Pilots.
They're good.
I don't know much from them. Okay.
I mean, they've done.
They consider themselves schizophrenic rock because they're just all over the board on what kind of music they do.
All right.
All over.
They have a lot of like. They have.
They're not
like really heavy. They have more poppy. They got more rap. They go all over the place with their music. They're
when
good.
When you hear a song like Heathens, and then you go back and
theme song for Suicide Squad. They did that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heathens, and then you go back and you see their video. He's just playing a ukulele to the Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about all over the place. That's one side of the spectrum, and that's what I love. I love people that branch out everywhere.
If I could go back and see any bands, Joe Cocker, live, Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin.
Jethro Tull still plays.
No, Ian Anderson is, not Jethro Tull. There's difference between the two.
That's fair.
Yeah, go back and see Aqualung live, and then Led Zeppelin in '74 before they had to stop or they stopped.
How about the Doors? Everybody shits on them and says no. I would put them in my top.
Funny story, like when I talked to my mom about the Doors, that's one of the bands she can't remember if she saw or not. Back in that time, she's seen a lot of other ones. Well, she probably did at some club or some bar or whatever, right? Back in the day when they played smaller venues. But
how about the Dead?
No, fuck the Dead. Grateful Dead is terrible. It is the only other band that's worse than them.
Drop some acid and take some mushrooms. Go see them.
No, even then, even if I was tripping balls in Orbit and Jupiter, their music sucks. It sucks, and I would say that too. The Grateful Dead I'm sorry, I'm not into jam bands. I'm not into that where they just play like Fish. That's another band. Fish, fuck you, Fish. Okay, that's another shitty band. They are a shitty band. Okay, and what's another one that's like them? That's most current. It would be. Of course, I can't handle anything from John or was it Bono or whatever? U2. I can't. I anytime Bono. I hear the song comes on the radio, I change the station.
Or Bono.
Boner, whatever his name is.
Bonner.
Those are the bands that if you paid me a lifetime salary, I still would probably regret seeing.
Another band I would have gone back and see is Queen.
Yes.
Queen would have been fucking
CCR. Because CCR was only together for 5 years. People don't realize
original Leonard Skinner.
Yes. Go see Skinner.
So
go see all those bands like at a show. Not fucking Woodstock, not hippie stock or anything like that. But go see them in a great venue. To see them see CCR open up for Skinner and then Skinner playing for whoever. You know what I mean? See something like that would have been epic.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many bands now, at least over 200 shows I've counted.
Wow.
And bands. And so but now
can't count that high.
But I can only remember like 5 of them. That's the thing.
That's this many.
Right here. That's my whole hand being held up with 5 fingers. Okay.
You can use your toes if you need to.
Nope. I counted to 5. I did okay this time. But no, those would be the bands I'd go back and see.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, we're gonna get to our next interview. Our big name that we're super excited to bring you to. Ken and I fanboyed out on this as soon as he said he would do it. You should have seen it. When we were interviewing this guy, I was sweating bullets. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was awesome.
You were sweating bullets. Yeah.
I was starstruck.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is awesome. He is very humble. He's a very awesome, nice guy, and he's super fucking smart, and he's great at what he does. The only thing I would criticize him about is that he covered the Patriots.
He covers them still to this day. I mean, he covered them for years. I think he still does.
I know.
But you're right. When he mentioned them, I saw you get mad.
Mike, I know you're going to listen to this, and I'm sorry, but I can't forgive anybody who has anything to do with the Patriots. They shit on us for fucking 20 years, and I'm done with them. As I told him, the best part of this offseason is that Tom Brady left the Patriots, and we no longer have to play.
So, how about was it going to be a Miami Dolphins, Tampa Bay championship game or playoff?
We don't play them until next year.
You don't play them until next year, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because that's when he's going to shit on you again.
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on where we go. He can't win in Miami.
No, he can't. And Mike brought that up, too, that you guys actually played well against them. If that's the only wins you got out of the season, the only thing you can carry out was that you beat the shit out of the Patriots.
But we don't want to spoil any of the interview.
Sorry.
So without further ado, guys, we got Mike Giardi from the NFL Network joining us on the line. Stick by with us. We're going to bring him in right now. Welcome back, everybody. So the moment you have all been waiting for. We have a
I've been waiting for it.
fantastic guest on here. We're really excited. We almost fanboyed it.
I did. I was in fangirl. I was just like, oh my gosh.
You guys totally fanboy it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at you right now, and
yeah.
Oh, I'm blushing.
vibrating.
I'm blushing, bro.
As soon as he said he'd be on, I called Ken in the morning. And I was like, dude, did you check Twitter? Did you see the message we just got? We just booked him.
I literally thought we screwed up real bad and got like banned from everything. I was like, the last episode, there was a pretty big drunken tirade on certain things, and it may not have happened, but yeah, it was
exactly.
I thought we got banned.
But everybody, on the line today, we have the pleasure of bringing Mike Giardi of the NFL Network to us. Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. We really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, guys. How could I say no? I mean, it's just you guys don't realize your popularity and your fame. It's already spread to the East Coast. I mean,
Clout.
Wow.
Clout.
You're gonna be
Clout.
You're gonna be big in Europe. You know, it's all happening.
We're going to be doing world tours on stage,
Man.
drinking.
I'm too old for the rock star lifestyle, though, man.
Yeah.
We're going to be the XFL.
You might surprise
podcast.
yourself.
Yeah. Maybe we should get a whiskey named after us because that's all we drink here.
We drink enough of it. Yeah, we should make our own.
But anyway, thank you so much, Mike, for joining us. So for all our fans out there, can you just give us a quick introduction of who you are, how you got started, and kind of just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I've been at the NFL Network so I'm headed for my third season. Before that, I worked in Boston at NBC Boston, covering the Patriots primarily, but I also did a lot of Bruins stuff in the off season. In fact, was lucky enough to cover the Bruins winning the Cup in 2011 and then getting to the Cup Finals again in 2013. Did a lot of Red Sox baseball too. So I've been in the Boston market for 20 years before making the jump to NFL Network, and couldn't be happier. It's a great place. Certainly, if you told little 14, 15-year-old Mike Giardi he'd be working for the NFL Network covering the National Football League one day on a daily basis, he would have said you're crazy. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I feel pretty blessed. A lot of grind to get here, but also some luck and the right people like you, and the next thing you know, you're covering Super Bowls and doing all the sorts of things that I've been able to do over the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
Just awesome.
I'm missing both of those things from my life.
Yeah.
Good looks, people liking me, and luck.
No, and the third thing, covering Super Bowls.
I got to tell you, it's funny. You get, obviously having covered the Patriots for 20 years,
Right.
I've covered 9 Super Bowls with them alone. And after the first 1 or 2, you're kind of like, what it's like. And at times it can be pretty overwhelming. There's just so much going on, and some of the locations, a pain in the butt. You got to get from one place to the other, and listen, these aren't exactly big problems, but you're sort of like,
sounds terrible.
Like, okay, they get there, and it's But then as the week goes on and you get closer and closer to the game, the energy that just builds is it's one of those things that it's hard to match in any sport. I've covered World Series. Stanley Cup is right up there in terms of sort of the energy, but obviously the popularity of hockey doesn't equal what it is for football. So yeah, you get Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, sort of that quiet day where everything sort of shuts down before the game, and you just I can't imagine what it'd be like to be a player. I mean, I've talked to these guys about it, but I mean, for me, my nerves get going. I get all amped up and crazy, and I can only imagine playing in the biggest game of my life what it would be like to be in that spot and trying to keep myself calm and not jump out of my own skin. I don't know how the hell they sleep before the game.
Oh,
legitimately.
I don't know either.
Because I have a hard time doing it. And again, I'm not playing in the game, so.
Yeah, so as a Dolphins fan, Mike, I have to tell you that
you mentioned the
this has
Patriots.
been
I
the
saw the
greatest
look on his
offseason
face.
of my life because we no longer have to face Tom Brady twice a year.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah,
the
but you
best
guys,
thing now.
it's funny though, but you guys did pretty well against them over the years, all things considered.
Thank you.
In the division, the Jets had a couple of years with Sanchez and Rex. The Bills, maybe we're starting to see the Bills come on, but over the years, the Dolphins were the one that you'd say, they're going to go 5-1 in the division. Well, what's the one loss going to be? It's going to be to Miami, probably in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that go for them.
Yeah, exactly. You don't win Super Bowls or haven't in a long time, but you get Brady once a year.
Yeah.
More than his lifetime.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not even been in his lifetime.
even
This guy's
alive.
that young. It hasn't been in his lifetime.
But So, Mike, you're one of the biggest names out there when it comes to the NFL Network and sports, and you interview high-profile players, all-stars, all that stuff. So, is this a dream that you had since you were a kid? Is this something you had always wanted to do? Is it just something that kind of just came about?
Well, I mean, so my father was a football coach for 40 years, mostly high school, did some college at the end. So I grew up on a football field, essentially. You know, when I was 4 or 5 years old, we're going to games, we're going to practices. As I got a little bit older, my dad let me chart the plays on the sideline. So they call the play, I write down the play, I'd write down the, you know, what the other team did, what's the result of the play. So at halftime, they'd go over the sheet and be like, well, look, we went away from this and we shouldn't. So I kind of got to be involved from that standpoint. And, you know, watching tape, was it 16 millimeter? You know, dad clears off the wall, breaks out the projector, put it on the 16 millimeter with the clicker, black and white. So I was born into sports. You know, it's been the thing that I've loved. You know, I played as many as I could, was fortunate enough to play college football, but I mean, just that environment and growing up, I knew that I always wanted to do something with sports. So it was either going to be coaching like my father did, or it was going to be the coverage side of it. And, you know, awesome. I was fortunate. Yeah, I was fortunate enough when I got out of college. Same thing, you know, like crazy. I got offered a job at SUNY Albany, State University of Albany. Their coaching staff is, or then, I don't know if it still is, but it was, you know, 14, 15 guys, but only 3 full-timers, and the rest of the staff was graduate assistants. So I'd get my master's paid for and, you know, get a small stipend. I think it was like $10,000, but I could be a coach for 2 years before, you know, you're supposed to have graduated and move on. The guy that I was supposed to replace as the wide receivers coach couldn't get a job, and had such a good relationship with the head coach. He was like, can I come back? And he's like, well, we offered your job to Mike. But obviously, you know, he had better history with him than he did with me. So, you know, he called me and he's like, look, I feel terrible, and I was like, no, I totally get it. I mean, I'd be bummed out if I worked for you for 2 years and just because I was supposed to get a job and then didn't, you're like, yeah, you're gone. So I think I don't know whatever became of him, but that was sort of the end of my you know, dreams of coaching, because pretty much right after that, I was in my hometown down the Cape Cod, and I ran into the sports editor of the local newspaper there. I don't even know, like Bradley's or something, like some, you know, store that doesn't even exist anymore. And he's like, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, you know, like, I think I want to get into what you're doing. And I had written for the school paper at my college, covering basketball in the wintertime. And he's like, come on over, see me Monday. I can get you 10 hours a week. And I was like, cool. You know, it's a good way to get my foot in the door. And the crazy thing was, 3 months later, he says to me, and he was a different kind of guy. Tom Moran was his name. And he said, he's like, Giardi, I got to tell you something. He's like, I just bought a farm in Costa Rica. I'm like,
totally random.
I'm like, you did what? He's like, yeah, I bought like 20 acres in Costa Rica as a waterfall. He's like, I'm going to grow weed down there. I'm going to have my own farm. And he's like, I'm leaving in 3 months. And he's like, I'm telling them you should take my job. And I was like, you're fully, you know what? Like, I can't even believe, like, you're going to, like, the whole thing just seemed, I mean, the weed part for him didn't seem crazy, but the whole and sure enough, he wasn't joking. And they made me an offer about 2 weeks later. And I did that for almost 3 years. But as that sort of went on, I kind of knew I wanted to try TV. So same sort of thing. I just, I was like, I don't want to move. You know, I'm an East Coast guy. I didn't want to, you know, go to Missouri or Columbia or one of those places, right. Or even Syracuse. My father went to Syracuse, but I didn't want to go to Syracuse. I was like, I'm going to apply to 2 schools in Boston University and Emerson. They're both really good communication schools. If I get in, it's meant to be. If I don't, I'll keep writing. And I got into both. I went to BU, got my master's, and I've been in TV ever since. So again, like, just honestly, if I don't see the sports editor that moves to Costa Rica, you know, maybe I see him 2 months later and they've already picked another guy. Maybe none of this stuff happens. See, it's like all these little things that sort of add up and get you to where you want to be. Or in this case, I never even dreamed that I would get to this point. So, you know, it's again, I consider myself to be pretty blessed and pretty lucky in that regard.
That's
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's all those little things that fall into place.
Oh, totally, right? I mean,
the full dream at the end. That's awesome.
It's like your beard right now. That beard fell into place because of the unforeseen pandemic, and now you look like Ryan Fitzpatrick, which only makes this all come together, right? We got the Dolphins stand, you got the beard. It's magic.
It's Fitzmagic, you mean?
It's Fitzmagic. Yeah, we're going to go into all the little things that fall into place. Yeah. We're going to talk about the little things that fall into place when we talk about the 1989 Packers draft. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit.
But Mike, with the upcoming season, we just had the draft a little while ago, and they canceled the preseason, and with the 2020 NFL season kind of still a huge question mark. What do you foresee for the NFL season? What is an NFL season of 2020 going to look like?
Going to look like something we've never seen before. I mean, look how close we are to the supposed start of training camp. A couple of weeks, right? I mean, 2.5 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah. And they don't really have any protocols. There's so many things that haven't been answered, or so many things that are still in discussion. I know from our standpoint, the NFL Network, like, we're like, hey, what's the deal? And they're like, we don't know yet. Like, we're going to press forward like the season's going to happen, and we're going to be able to do certain things. But, for media, there are different tiers of entry levels if training camp happens, and you're going to be allowed, and there aren't going to be one-on-one interviews anymore because obviously, they don't want that close contact. It boggles the mind, that in February we're at the combine and everything is grand, and there's this thing that you're hearing about and it's hitting places hard, but you don't think it's going to happen to us, and then when it happens to us, how it's upended everything. And I thought with NFL at least you had time, that all came to be in late February, early March. You're like, oh, the other leagues will have to sort of get things in place when they start up. The league will be able to watch and see how things are working for them and sort of figure it out. But everything got pushed back, and now it's almost like everybody's sort of starting here at the same time. And there's just, again, so many questions that haven't been answered. And I think you see it, you guys are on Twitter, you see these conference calls that they're having between the PA and the league, and some of the players then coming out on social media and being like, they didn't answer squad, or we still don't know. They're not telling us how we're going to be safe, or, even the other day when some of the game day protocols came out, the idea that guys can't exchange jerseys and be in a prayer group after the game on the field. And, this is negotiated between the two sides, but players are coming out being like, really? We're going to beat the hell out of each other for 75, 80 plays a game. And then at the end of the game, he can't give me his jersey. We can't pose for a picture. Like that's right. The thing that's going to cause the overload. And that's going to be the thing that exposes me to the disease. So I just, it's really, it's scary. And there's a great unknown. And I wish I had more answers, and I wish I was more confident about it. But I think it's going to be tenuous even when they do start. How it goes, what happens when a team, when their quarterback room before a game has to be quarantined because somebody's exposed to the virus, or somebody has the virus. What happens when it rips through an offensive line room? Do you cancel the game, or you signing the 8 guys in the practice? Like, I don't know. I'm having a hard time envisioning all that and how it's going to look. And at least I'll give them credit. They're at this point. I know they're still at loggerheads over a lot of different things, but it feels like at least right now they're listening to each other and trying to come up with the best way possible to do this. And I think we all want them to do it. They just, how safe is it going to be? How safe can you make it?
Right. And baseball's already been dealing with this, with some of the starting lineup testing positive or being quarantined before a game. And this is just in the restructuring and restarting of the season for them. And I was wondering, like, do we even go with the 2020 season and return to normalcy next year if we can? Or is this something that fans are just going to have to get used to, watching it from home and not hearing the fan noise or whatever it may be, empty stadiums, half-empty stadiums? Does it still hold that magic to it, though?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, the NFL community, the fans, especially when you have a good team, but even when you don't, they just like to get together. It's a meeting place. It's you get together every year. I haven't seen John since last December. Now I'm seeing John, and he sits in 315, and that's a row behind me. And we've had some great times over the years, even though we're not, we don't exchange our phone numbers. So I think that sort of that community is going to be hungry for it when they're allowed to do it again. But again, when's that going to happen? I mean, are we going to have I think you're hoping that the testing would be further along than it is now. You're hoping for rapid testing that, the 15-minute testing, that hasn't happened yet. So I know obviously we've heard teams are making plans to have, I think Jacksonville said, was it 14,000? Or I'm getting some of them confused at this point, but, where you can keep people separated but still get some bodies in the building.
Okay.
Make everything, no touch pay, parking. I know the Patriots are parking. They're going to waive parking fees this year if, in fact, they can get fans in. I know it was Jacksonville that said, like, any purchase you make inside the stadium will be done, with the wave of a card. You're not exchanging money with anybody at this point. But again, that just seems like, wow, can we even, is that even safe? Can we even manage that? I mean, I understand that the revenue that gets lost without having fans is massive. And I'm sure there is a little bit of trepidation on the ownership's part. Like, well, if they stay away for a year, maybe they find out that they don't want to wait in a 3-hour line.
Yes.
Or maybe they don't want to wait in a line to get into the bathroom or for their beer or hot dogs or whatever. But I think by and large, I think when it finally does open up to everybody, I still think you'll see full houses. I still think there's enough demand for people to want to go there. But it's, again, I'm having a hard time envisioning seeing how it's going to work for the players, let alone getting fans in the building, at least for this year.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and more on that. So how does this affect maybe rookie players who are just coming in, the players who are drafted? And, furthermore from that, how does it affect college players who are maybe in their senior year of college and who are hoping to go into the draft for next year, and now all of a sudden they're being told they can't play this year?
Yeah, it's a massive trickle-down effect, right? I mean, if now we've seen some of the smaller divisions in college and the Ivy League say no fall sports, right? They're pushing everything back and saying, well, maybe come January we can start up sports again. So, there's some feeling that maybe like with the Ivy League that they'll do spring football and have just a league season, a condensed league season over 7 weeks, 7 games, whatever it is. But then if you're translating that to the major colleges, the Power 5 or what have you, if you're Trevor Lawrence or Fields or whoever, and they're saying, well, we're going to play in the spring, like if you get to that point, I know they're not there yet, but just play that out. If you're Trevor Lawrence, do you play in the spring or do you just say, the hell with it, I'm going in the draft? Like, and I would say if I was all those guys, I'm not sure I'd want to play. Like, I'm gonna rest on my laurels. I'm gonna, I'll be a first round pick and I'm gonna get my guaranteed millions. But then the flip side of that is the guys that need to have good years, junior years or senior years to get on the draft radar to improve their draft position and their stock. Can those guys afford not to play? I don't know, because you're talking about a huge difference, obviously. First, second round picks, the guaranteed money that's there versus, being a 6th or 7th round pick or, being an undrafted free agent where they give you $10,000 in a plane ticket or $20,000 in a plane ticket and no guarantees of anything. So, it's again, it's a fascinating thing. And we still don't know how the dominoes are going to fall on this and whether they're going to be able to get a season in. And then, to your other part of your question about the rookies, I mean, look, there's no question that they lost out on 400 to 500 reps in the spring and summer here with the OTAs. And I know that's not full on, but there's one thing to look at it on videotape. There's another thing to do it. I mean, we know this. It's some guys, they need to be shown how to do it physically, moved. This is how it goes. Or, hey, this is what it looks like when you're lined up at corner and you're in the slot and they come out 3 wide. This is what you have to do. And you can see it on tape, but then it looks a little different when you're on the field. So I would imagine that for some guys, it's going to be really hard to break through or to have the kind of seasons that maybe teams projected when they drafted him. Hey, I'm going to get this guy in here. We're going to work with him, and he's going to be the steal of the draft. Well, that steal of the draft might not be a steal until next year when maybe we finally have a full, real off season together and they can work together and learn. I think certainly, like, imagine being a quarterback. Again, visual learners, a lot of times you talk to those guys and they say, look, man, I can stand behind – Garoppolo was this way. I can stand behind Brady, not get the first team reps, but I'm visualizing exactly what I'm doing while I stand behind him. I'm seeing what he's seeing or trying to and processing it that way. But the game is faster. You know, the
Yes.
game is faster than it is in college, and that's a tough transition for be it Tua or Burrow or any of these guys. And I think those, you know, should we have a season, I'm sure those guys get in there. They'll be, well, I'm sure Burrow's going to be a starter, but there'll be growing pains for sure.
Yeah. And, you know, just a quick side note on there, just a question completely off topic, is that I know Ken is a huge player, huge Packers fan. So, and I think the entire world was mind blown when Packers traded up with the Dolphins and drafted Jordan Love.
Yes. Yeah, I still don't know what to do with that when that happened. We were supposed to be at the draft. Matter of fact, we had passes to go to the draft this year in Vegas because we're not far from there, and instead of just driving for a day. And then this happened. So our one chance that we had to go see the draft, like we were going to do a show, we were going to do all this stuff, and then But what do you think about that?
Do you think that marks the end of times for Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay?
You know, I don't hate it, and I'll tell you why I don't hate it. Because if you believe, and clearly Green Bay believed on their board that he was their best player on the board where they were at that point, and there was such a huge difference between that player and the next player. When you're talking about that position, I know you just invested money in Aaron, and I know Aaron's still playing at an incredibly high level. But look, the Patriots in many ways did it with Garoppolo when they drafted him. Belichick came to the podium and he said, we all know Tom's contract situation and age. Now, look, Aaron's contract is in a better place than Brady's was at that point. But I still think that you want to be protected at that position. Forget about even being protected. You want to feel confident that you have the next guy because they're hard to find. And I think if they feel, and clearly they do, that Love has the potential to be a franchise quarterback, then we could be looking back on this 5-6 years from now and saying, that was the friggin' steal of the entire draft. You know,
I hope
if the guy is what they think. But you know, to your point, in the interim, the right now, did you get better right now? Well, again, just relaying it to my own experience and covering the Patriots, is they felt Brady was on a decline in 2012, 2013, into 2014 when they drafted Garoppolo. And it wasn't like this, you know, there was no cliff. But in those 2 or 3 years prior to drafting Garoppolo, they thought they saw some signs of decline. And in drafting Garoppolo, and remember, he was just a second-round pick. In drafting Garoppolo and then having Belichick say what he said, it was like they put Brady on notice. And then you saw what happened from the moment they drafted Garoppolo.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, he lit it up because he got – not that I would say that he was not motivated anymore, but I think that's sort of like, oh, here we go again. People doubting me after I've done all this for you guys over 12, 13 years and won 3 Super Bowls. You're doubting me. And he took his game back to another level and, you know, wins 3 more Super Bowls and gets to another one in there as well. So, you know, would you be happy if Jordan Love reignited maybe what they feel is a slight decline in Rodgers' play? And all of a sudden, you know, Rodgers gets pissed off and angry, and he's done some stuff this offseason that maybe he hasn't done in years past. And when you see him again, he looks like maybe the 3 or 4 year ago version than the one you saw last year. Again, who was pretty good, obviously. But I don't know. I think there's I'm just a believer that if you don't have a quarterback, you're screwed. So again,
right. Well, and it's true. And Rodgers came into the league with a chip on his shoulder, not going first in the draft that year.
Yep.
And maybe this does reignite him. So I'm going to do a quick flashback, though, Kyle, since we're on the subject. We're going to go back to 1989. And then I started following the Packers about a season or 2 before that with Don Magic Mikowski, guys like that. Okay, so we were like 3-13 if we were lucky. And I'm going to say this is the draft order of the year, 1989. So Brett Favre's on the bench. Don Mikowski is the starting quarterback at the time. And we got him from Atlanta. We got him off their bench. So the first round pick goes to the Cowboys. It was Troy Aikman. He was locked in. There's nobody who was going to touch that pick. Okay.
Yep.
Next pick, Green Bay Packers go with Tony Mandridge, a tackle who didn't miss any blocks in college, but also had a raging steroid issue. And it was found out pretty early in the NFL. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that was Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders, Steve Atwater in that top class, Percy Snow somewhere in there. They could have had any – could you imagine that when we were talking about little things are falling into place, imagine Brett Favre 16 seasons with a Barry Sanders. You know, what could have been possible. But I had to go back because that was the time that the Packers shit the bed. Okay, that's what they did.
And that's crazy that you bring up those names. I mean, that's an amazing string of players that got selected in the top 10 there.
All Hall of Famers.
Yeah. But I remember Mandarich and like the incredible bulk on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm sure you remember too. Like, oh, this guy's a freak. Yeah, he's gonna be tremendous. And then the news comes out about the roid stuff.
Well, he showed up for training camp 30 pounds lighter than when he left college, and everyone knew right then.
Yeah,
the guy can't juice like he wants. But yeah, just a little flashback going back there. They've done better since then.
Yeah,
I'm not bitter. I'm not resentful.
Dude, that was 1989. Get over it.
Dude, it's seared into my brain. But here's the small things that happen. Tony Mandarich goes in, starts the game, misses a block. Don Mikowski gets hurt. Here comes Brett Favre off the bench. That's how it happened.
Favre.
Well, they called him Favor. They called him Favor or something like that on TV. They didn't know how to say his name right. And that's how it happened. The guy comes in, can't do roids, misses a block. Mikowski goes down. Favre comes off the bench, and then we got history after that.
A little random fact for you. I had a poster of Don I can't even say his name now. Mikowski.
Yeah,
I had it.
Yeah, I had one too back in the day.
Not even kidding. Remember those posters you could buy on a Sports Illustrated too?
Yes.
They had the little thing, the card. Yep.
I love those.
Oh, wow.
I had one of him, and I had one of Jerry Rice.
Oh,
in the day.
Yep. And Jerry Rice, Hall of Fame. Don Mikowski, not so much.
Well, hey, just think about this for someone who grew up in the Boston area. Like, we didn't even pay attention to the Patriots. They were garbage. They had that 1 year in '78, I think it was. And then the coach decided to flee for Colorado, and the Chuck Fairbanks and the seasoned turtle. And then they had the 85 where they had the magical run and then got just crushed by the Bears in the Super Bowl. But, until Drew Bledsoe got drafted, it was just a comedy of errors. Like, God, they just sucked. They sucked. And we never paid, like, I never watched them. I mean, I never paid attention to them. My brother was a 49ers fan, and I was a Cowboys fan, because really when we didn't have the TV like you do now. Those teams were on all the time. The Giants were on all the time. I couldn't stand the Giants. I couldn't stand Joe Theismann and the Redskins. So it was the Cowboys. My brother chose the 49ers, so I became a Cowboys fan, at least then.
That's one of the questions I had for you, is what is your favorite team? So you just answered that. But what was your favorite player growing up? What is the one player you loved to watch growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, man. I loved Aikman. He threw such a pretty threw such a pretty ball. Barry was awesome. Sanders.
Yeah. Hard to catch.
But I was a receiver, so I gravitated to those guys. I liked Jerry Rice a ton. Michael Irvin, obviously. I even liked Andre Rison for a little while. I probably wasn't reading about all the stuff that he was doing off the field then. We didn't have social media. We didn't have to worry about those sorts of things. You get that one article in a Sports Illustrated or something. Oh, wow, that he's a little bit of a wild card. But back then, had no clue.
Bo Jackson, I'd say back in the day.
Oh,
if it wasn't for the hip injury, all-time leading rusher. Possibly all-time leading rusher. Yeah.
Bo was bad, man. I could tell you, I saw him with the Royals play the Red Sox, and he had a home run. And I don't know if you're familiar with Fenway Park, but with the center, so the Green Monster, and it extends to center field. So there's a triangle in center field where the dugout is. I mean, the bullpen is. And he hit a ball that came off his bat that it looked like a line drive, and it hit the back wall over the bullpen it's basically dead center, and it was maybe 8 feet off the ground. And it was just, he had to have hit that ball so friggin' hard, because when it came off the bat again. Oh, it's a line drive to center field. That ball's still going. That ball's still going.
Yes.
It's a home run. Holy crap. He just hit a home run. Like, he was a bad man.
The only home run I've seen hit harder than that was McGuire off of Randy Johnson in the Kingdom. If it wasn't for the Kingdom's roof, that ball would have went in the parking lot easily. We were up in the shittiest seats in the place possible, and that ball went behind us.
I saw Manny Ramirez hit one at Fenway that hit off the top of the light tower in left center. And that was like
quarter mile up.
That was going to go over. That was either going to hit the Mass Pike or go over the Mass Pike. That's how
crazy.
Hard to hit that ball.
Jeez. Scary players, especially like Bo Jackson had arms the size of logs. I mean,
his legs.
He was a scary dude.
Napoleon Kaufman, who played for Lompoc at the years after, had those legs built like Bo Jackson. And he went to play for the Raiders, and then it became
that bad knee injury, right?
Yeah. He had a pretty rough one, and then he went on to become like a chaplain and stuff. But in high school, trying to stop Napoleon Kaufman was like being in the pros trying to stop like a Bo Jackson. He just ran people over. just built like a tank.
It's the man against boys type of thing where you know. And what's funny about some of these guys too is like they just, you know, for what the country strong, if you will, that just, you know, they didn't train or they didn't touch weights until they got to college because you're high school, you're in some small school, don't really have programs like that, but they just had that ability and that physique, you know, whatever. It's just, yeah.
Man versus boys.
For the record, I never had that.
I never had that. Giant gym.
Yeah, didn't do it for me.
So, Mike, you've interviewed quite a few people. I've seen a couple of videos. I mean, even in your main picture on your Twitter is you interviewing. What has been the most memorable interview that you've ever done, whether it be good or bad?
I can. It's fun. I was thinking about this when you asked me this off air, and I've had so many bad interviews, because dealing with the Patriots, and look, I've been fortunate enough the last couple of years, I've been able to branch out and cover other teams, you know, not just the Patriots, but I've covered the Patriots for so long. Belichick doesn't want him talking to us, and he doesn't want him giving us anything. So he scares the crap out of them when they're young. So even usually when guys are third, fourth, fifth year in the league, they're still sort of reticent to say anything because they don't want to get tapped on the shoulder and called up to Bill's office. So I can't tell you how many times, you know, you're like, oh, I know this guy well, this will be a good interview. And then the moment you turn the camera on, they clam right up, you know, they give you the cliches. I remember one time Gronkowski, they literally give them 10 cliches, like, hey, just spew these things back. And I remember Gronkowski did an interview where in one answer he hit like 6 or 7 of them, and another reporter did a group interview. Another reporter's like, "Oh, Rob, they're going to be so happy with you. You got 6 or 7." Like, I did not, you know? Like
Gronkowski's great.
Like,
if that guy could be a spirit animal, that guy should be a spirit animal for people.
So yeah, I can put together a million of Patriot ones where you're just like, really, you can't even give me anything, like a little bit of flavor. I remember an interview I did with Dennis Weidman, was a defenseman for the Bruins, who was on, I think he was on the Cup-winning team in 11. Maybe he was on 10. I think 11. And he had a really terrible start to the year. And it became this big thing, like they didn't have confidence in him. And I remember doing stories around the time in December and January was going to get traded. And then he sort of righted the ship and played pretty well. And they get into the postseason, and they were kicking the crap out of Philly. I think they swept the Flyers in the series. And I don't know what I was doing, but I for some reason I had an interview with him, and I brought it up. And it was like, it should have, I knew I screwed it up. And I actually apologized to him after the fact, because I think I maybe was just kind of searching for something to talk about and maybe looking for a spark. And I you know, he got really pissy with me. And obviously the interview went right in the tank. And, you know, he walked away mumbling and I walked away mumbling. And then I thought about it for like 5 minutes, and I went and found him again. I was like, dude, that was piss poor on my part. I spit the bit. My bad. I apologize. Shouldn't have gone there. You had righted the ship, and I had no business going back there and talking about it. So, you know, we got along fine after that. But it was, and in fact, he appreciated me admitting I screwed it up. But I mean, it happens. Sometimes you know, whatever, you get caught up in the moment, or you get lost, and then the next.
We don't know anything about that.
Like, that just came out of my mouth, didn't it? That sucked.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, Mike, if you had to bet the farm, who wins the Super Bowl this year? I mean, and taking into account maybe all the changes that's going to happen with the NFL, not just roster talent, because probably everybody would say the Chiefs, but if you were a betting man, what would you bet on what team's going to win it this year?
Yeah, I put my money on the Chiefs again.
Okay.
I think the continuity that they have, continuity is going to be a huge thing. I think we'll be talking about it quite a bit when they finally start up again, because again, of all the stuff that's happened in the offseason and not being able to get guys together and not being able to get a whole team together, you know, the fact that they know each other, they have the same coordinators, all that stuff, I think is going to play huge into it. I think Pat is obviously just coming into his own, and what he's already is amazing. He's the best quarterback in the league.
Yes.
I mean, I just gave him $500 million.
$500 million.
Yeah. And he's probably
buy some continuity.
Yeah, he's probably underpaid with it. So I would just say I think that team, you know, I think maybe, and if there's a benefit to not having a normal off season is that maybe those guys with you're 4 or 5 weeks behind everybody else who gets a fresher start on the off season when you get bounced from either the regular season or you're losing the playoffs in the first round or whatever. Maybe their body's got a little bit more time to recover too here, so that they're in better shape. But obviously, I think we're going to see a ton. Like, face it, how many soft tissue injuries are we going to see when camp finally starts up?
Yes.
Because no matter what you're doing, no matter how many times you can see these guys doing their drills that they put on Instagram and Twitter, it's still not the same as
injuries are going to be through
wearing
the
the full pads and having guys lean on you all the time and all that. It's just that I think that's part of why you're seeing them wanting the no preseason and the longer. I forget what the term they're using is to sort of get guys back into football shape. The conditioning period, they want a longer time than the league wants to give them. It's because I think they saw 2011 in the lockout. Yes. And even though those guys were working out, again, same thing. It's just, it's still not football.
In the gym is different than on the field contact. It's got to be. I mean, it's simple. Game's faster, like you said. And you step out there and everything hurts after that first day.
Everything.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for joining us. That was amazing. We're incredibly humbled to be able to talk to you. So we appreciate you coming on the show. So where can people find your show? Where can people find you on social media?
So NFL Network obviously is my employer. So you guys can find that on the dial. I'm on Twitter at Mike Giardi. Giardi. I got a Facebook page as well. Same thing, just search Mike Giardi, you'll find it. And I'm on Instagram, and I think that's Mike Giardi too. Let me double check that, guys.
I feel you on all the social media.
I gotta tell you, most of my Instagram is my dog. That's who gets the it's Mike Giardi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same.
So
okay.
I put my dog Joe on there quite a bit, but when the football season rolls out, we put some video and we put some content when we're on the field pregame and stuff like that. We'll share some video from the pregame. So
nice.
Awesome.
Hopefully we get to do that again this fall.
Oh man.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to it. We need some sports in our lives.
We need something. Sports especially.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for joining us. And everybody just stick around for a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with Killin Brain Cells and a Florida Man article. Be right back.
Mike Giardi for joining us on the podcast. We have been longtime fans and followers of his, and having him on the show was a true fanboy moment. You can check out Mike on his NFL Network shows Total Access, Game Day Morning, and NFL Up to the Minute. You can also find him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of his links will be in the description of the podcast. Stay tuned, because we have more great content coming your way.
And we're back. Unfortunately,
Welcome back.
None of us are really excited for this next segment.
I don't know whose idea this was, but
it
was a collaborative effort.
We're bringing you a new segment. Well, first of all, we want to thank Francisco Gonzalez and Mike Giardi for joining our show.
Yes, thank you so much.
Awesome interviews. We had a
show.
Great time with each one of them. We would love to have them back at any point in time. And we hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. And so, without further ado, we're going to get into our next segment. It's a brand new one we're bringing to you. So, music is getting worse and worse and worse as the
Is there a word for it,
along.
like worser?
Worser.
Because it is. Music is just so trash now. And then the culture behind it. And that's what we're going to get into. We're going to get into snitch culture, wannabe gangsters, and fake-ass people. Which in any music genre, there's some of those people. But this one is just...
So we have aptly named it Killin Brain Cells.
Yes,
That is the name of our next segment is Killin Brain Cells.
Which is dangerous because there's not many left anyway.
Not. Yeah, I'm struggling with a few I got.
You can count them on one hand.
Pretty much, if I can count.
And you can't even math.
I can't even math, dude.
So, for today's segment of Killin Brain Cells, we are bringing you Takashi 6ix9ine
I already hate
Trollz featuring Nicki Minaj.
Yep, I hate it.
Yeah, it's already cringe. None of us want to get into it, but lucky for you, we're going to do this so you don't have to.
Oh, lucky for you.
Lucky for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this video. We're just going to do a little commentary, kind of explain what's going on in this video and what they're talking about. And yeah, we'll give our 2 cents about it. We're going to have a lot to say about this video. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
It's already trash.
What?
It's trash.
Now you got Nicki Minaj dancing in a hot tub.
What?
No, but them titties, though.
Takashi with this bright red hair. And
that's a
she's
Skittle-looking
pouring milk over
motherfucker.
his
Look like
face.
Skittles, dude.
Yeah.
Fruit Loops is right, dude.
I'm so, if
Okay.
I was on acid, this could be something decent to listen to.
I don't-
Or not, no, I take it back. Not listen to, but
No.
visually.
Now, if the fappening was happening to Nicki Minaj, yes.
Yeah.
But this guy, he was a bitch
So-
in prison. The little bit of time he spent in prison.
I don't even.
So he's in this tunnel with stacks of cash, kind of just.
He just said, "You don't like me, you want to fight me? I'll fight him."
Okay.
And this guy is saying, "You don't want to fight me." This is the same guy who ratted on all the
Yep.
blood.
Everybody wants a piece of this guy now.
I don't
Now
even
he's
know.
dancing with kittens.
And yeah, everyone's gonna
He's
say, "Well, he's
holding
got
stacks of
money. He's got money or whatever." See that big old tattoo he covered up on his face right here?
Yeah.
That was his blood tattoo. They made him get rid of that shit.
Yeah, you can see
I
it. It's
can't
a
even
giant rose
understand
now.
what. All I've understood through this whole thing is you don't want to fight me. Oh, and then there was an ankle monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dancing with his ankle monitor. He's very proud of that.
Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and ask him. How did you get that ankle monitor, bro?
Being a snitch, bitch.
Being a snitch.
Yep, and he'll admit it. This is the sad part of it. He'll actually admit it that he ratted out everybody. His name is Daniel Hernandez. This is the original person behind this Takashi 6ix9ine.
Okay.
And he faked being a blood in New York for years, and then he faked his own carjacking, and then he cried at his own carjacking because he was scared. But it was his producer or manager that did it, and then he snitched them out and got them 20 years.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, why did he fake being a blood? Was this
Money.
Just money?
All that right there, like he had the tat, he had everything, but they knew that he was
name.
fake as fuck. It's money,
dropped
and he
the
got
name.
charged like money laundering. I mean, he was doing everything gang related, is what he was doing, and then he turned snitch. And now this video he made while he was on house leave,
House
released from
arrest.
prison. He got released from prison
Okay.
because of COVID-19. He got released early.
Oh, he's
And
one of
then-
the lucky ones.
Then he cut a deal so he didn't have to do 40 years in prison, and then he makes this video at home.
Yeah.
So and it just, I mean, when you watch it, he's making it sound
made
like
this
it's okay
video
to
at
be.
home.
Yes, it's like okay to be a snitch. Now, is there a time in life where you got to say something's wrong and then you deal with the police? Yeah, but this guy just straight out snitched to people that backed him,
Okay.
and that's why he's rapping about when he says like, "I know you don't like me, you want to fight me," and he said, like I said, I'd fight this fucking guy in a heartbeat. And I would throw him a beat, and you know why? Because I would collect fat stacks like he's got in this video from the people that he put in prison. Right?
Wow.
If you get your hands on him, there's a bounty on him. I'm sure there's a bounty on this guy just because he looks like a bag of fucking Skittles.
Well, it's. I mean, it's dangerous to be a gang member, but
Yeah.
to pretend to be one.
Pretend to be a blood in New York.
And then rat on him.
And then rat them all out, dude. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with right there.
Wow.
So,
all right. Yeah, I never.
So
wanna
let's
see
continue
that
on
again
with this
in
fucking
my
dumpster
entire life.
fire that's rolling downhill.
I never. Oh, thanks, dude. Don't show that to me again. I'd rather put a.
Well,
freaking
I'm not going to
mixer,
say
electric
anything,
mixer
but them
to my
titties
eye.
off to the side though. I'm just
Not
distracted
even
by
that.
those
That
this
is
whole
not
time.
nothing about Nicki Minaj is appealing.
Those
Absolutely
titties though,
nothing.
dude. Come on, bro.
No,
no.
Nothing about that chick is appealing. From her reality star crap.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. I'm just watching her titties bounce.
And all, I hate
That's all I'm looking
all
at.
of her music. All of her. Oh my gosh, give me a break. Come on.
I just like the pink shark in the background with the
Yes.
the gay pride teeth.
Oh come
Oh
on.
yes, that's what I'm saying. He's had that his whole career. That mouthful
Okay,
of Skittles
okay.
and shit like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna vomit. I'm gonna vomit. This what do they call that? Twerking?
I believe so.
I
In a
don't
hot
want-
tub.
No. Now that I know what twerking is, I never want to see it again.
But
That's
here's
just-
Wow.
No.
That's
but this is the thing though. What bothers me the most is that this guy has told his fans to buy this song 4 times over. Go out and purchase with your money 4 times so he can be number one. And he came out number one out of prison. That's how fucked up the culture is now in hip hop. If you go back to the days of Boogie Down Productions, BDP, okay? You go back in the days when they had beef back then, they did it with lyrics, right? And back then. And then things got out of hand over the years and some people's lives were lost to, you know what I mean? But this guy's a clown. Okay? I mean, KRS-One back in the day would just destroyed this kid as a lyricist. Okay, I'm going way back to my childhood, back when it was true hip hop. This shit is not. This is a clown show right here.
Yeah,
okay?
It's it.
And then some suburban white boy kid is watching this and thinks it's okay to be a snitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Think it's okay to act tough, get tattoos on your face, right? Get blood tattoos or get ganged up, and then go to and act like you're tough. And then once he got to prison, before he even made it to the prison, he was already snitching. Like as soon as they arrested him, this guy was cutting a deal. Probably before, knowing him.
And look what happened at the end. He ends up in a video with Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
That's enough to send someone to rehab.
No, I don't know, man. Them titties, though. I'm just going to say it.
She's got a huge cult following out there.
She does.
Maybe so. But there is nothing about her at all that is appealing to me.
So what's the over-under on how long this guy survives outside of prison?
2 years.
Under 5, so 2 years?
Yeah.
I'd say the same.
I mean, I don't wish death on anybody.
No.
I don't condone violence, but I'm just trying to predict.
Here's 2 things that he's going to do. He's going to go back to what he used to do, right, and get caught up in some legal charges, or he's going to get smoked by somebody, because there's real gangsters out there that are hardcore. They'll snatch your life. And this guy's going to find one of those people.
Truth is truth.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. And she won't have a collaborating partner in this next video.
No.
What's going to happen?
No.
She'll be rolling solo.
She'll have a hologram.
She'll have a hologram. Oh, God.
It's a Takashi 69 hologram.
That was such a terrible trend. I think I'm sure it's going to still keep going after COVID's done. Holograms, dude. Look, right over here, Lil Dicky. That's a true hardcore rapper, dude.
I'm going to have
Lil
nightmares
Dicky
tonight.
You're going to have nightmares?
I'm going to have nightmares.
I'm going to...
All that color and that bouncing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That, yeah, no.
It's enough to get someone a seizure.
Oh, yeah. I almost had one. I was close.
Just from fear of this video.
I never want to see that. I would rather have my balls pounded flat with a wooden mallet than to ever see
With
that
blunt
again.
rocks. I'd
Blunt
rather get
rocks,
castrated with
that's
blunt rocks.
That's right.
I mean, I said I would pay $200 to see Nickelback. I wouldn't pay a fucking dime to see this snitch ass fool on a stage. I wouldn't. Like, if you told me that you had free tickets to that, we couldn't be friends.
Don't be coy. I know on your phone you probably have a hidden playlist that's
of all Takashi 69 songs.
69.
Yeah, no, just yeah.
I could see
and it's listed under bitch ass skittle looking motherfucker.
Right next to his complete Judy Garland album.
Judy Garland sings better than this fool,
I know.
I'd pay to see Judy Garland.
right?
Well, we're gonna end that.
We're not even going to go into
Thank
that. We already gone into the culture. The sad part is if you listen to that and you think it's okay to emulate that just for the money or whatever, it doesn't end well. It's not going to end well for this guy.
No.
I'm not wishing anything on him, but he's not smart enough to have it end well. He was stupid enough to get caught up in what he did before. He's not smart enough to stay away from it now. Nothing's changed except for he got afraid of going to prison. That's what maybe his fear of prison, but he already got out once. He'll just do it again. If you roll with this guy, he's going to snitch on you. Right?
Yeah, I don't know who would try to, tag along with this guy.
Well,
'cause
I
he-
don't
Nicki
know.
Minaj.
You got to think though.
Nicki Minaj is.
Money has a tendency to bring out,
People's lack of attention span.
Yeah,
That the
of
fact that
course.
he just got out of prison for snitching people
I
out.
hate that guy. I hate what he did. He's in a video with Nicki Minaj. What? But hey, he's got $2 million.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah. I mean, yeah,
I'll
he's
be his
got
friend.
bank or whatever, but he won't live long enough to spend it. He'll end up back in prison or worse. I'm just gonna call it.
He needs to go to prison just for that hair.
Right? Or those teeth. Fucking look like he ate Skittles and didn't swallow.
Looks like he had the braces from like the 90s.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
all
colored
the
ones,
rubber
and he never
bands
took
and
them
shit.
off. Yeah, he never had them taken off because he's a kid, dude. I mean, shit. All right.
All right, moving on to our final segment. As you guys all know, we have the final segment of the day. Logan, what do we got?
Florida Man.
Exactly. It is time for
Oh,
another Florida Man
Thank you,
episode.
Florida. Thank you, Florida.
Yay, Florida.
You're too good to us.
Thank you, Florida.
Thank you for providing us with so much content every single episode.
Oh, every day. Every day of the year.
It's great. I mean, Florida is probably our best friend at this point because they can never disappoint you with the news articles that come out of there.
no.
Everything they do is fucked up. I mean, really. Everything
I do love that video of the dude in during the hurricane.
Yes.
He's got the American flag. He's
Yes.
just out in the.
Did you know that he got arrested
He got
for doing
arrested,
that?
yeah.
He got arrested for doing that.
He got arrested for doing the national anthem on a guitar at a block party.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
He was being too loud and he wouldn't turn it down.
Of course you don't turn it down. Did you ask Jimi Hendrix to turn it down when he played it?
No.
So fuck you. How about that? If you don't like it, then don't listen to it.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, there's probably some Karen on the blog. This is pre-Karen era. Probably sitting down there going, he's just too loud. They're having too much fun, and I'm not. So I'm going to call the cops.
I didn't get invited.
Yeah, I didn't get invited. You know why you didn't get invited? Because you smell like lavender essential oils, dude. That's why you didn't get invited. I was going to say it right now. Too many Karens out there.
Too many goddamn
Too many
Karens.
Karens. All right, so Florida man. This is a great one.
Anyway,
Tim.
so our Florida Man article brought to you exclusively by the state of Florida. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
This is, he had a bad reaction to meth, so he asked the cops for help.
Why wouldn't you?
What I mean, that is the next logical step, correct?
Absolutely.
You just
When you buy crack rock and it turns out to be like, not crack rock, you go to the cops.
well,
That's right.
let's find out what this guy actually did. I mean, if the headline didn't, just
Explain
blatantly
it
throw
right
it out
there,
there, it wasn't a wasn't a spoiler or anything. So this article starts out. It may not have been the best idea for this Florida man had ever had. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
No,
right,
I don't think
right.
these guys are known
Not
for
the
their
best idea.
and their
According to the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, Douglas Peter Kelly of Hawthorne in northern Florida contacted deputies on Tuesday with a complaint. He said that he thought he had been sold bad drugs.
It happens.
Yeah,
It
does.
happens.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying,
You're going
I
to
don't
get
know.
got.
You get got. You're going to
get
get got.
got.
That's what happens.
The
Fuck
police
around
are-
and find out, right? Fuck around and find out.
The police report on Facebook states that the man told deputies that he purchased methamphetamine about a week earlier and had suffered violent reactions after taking it.
Oh, that never happens.
It was probably bath salts. It wasn't
Yeah.
methamphetamine, dude. You bought
Right.
bath salts.
Right.
Well, that's not all.
That's not all.
That's
The
not
suspect
all.
went on to demand that detectives in the narcotic division test it to see if it was cut with something or if it had been sold something else entirely.
How does he still have this meth a week later? He's not a real drug
Right?
addict.
That's not how that works.
That's not, no. Yeah.
Even if it's
Oh,
bad stuff.
Maybe it's like meal planning. Maybe he sets it aside.
Every day I got a little bump to go
is-
every day.
This is 8 o'clock in the morning. This is 1 p.m.
I
This
can
is
just see
7
him with
p.m.
one of those little pill sorters that says Monday through
Little
Friday.
through
chunk of
Friday, AM,
methamphetamine
PM.
in it. No doubt.
Wow.
God. Fucking people.
So
Give them drug
Kelly
addicts a bad
said
name.
if he was indeed sold the wrong narcotic, the suspect, he wanted to press charges against the dealer.
I like how they said the suspect, because now he's a suspect in his own
Right,
shit.
right.
He's a suspect caught up in his own bullshit.
So what did deputies do? They told the 49-year-old to come on over to the station, and they had obliged
I
him.
bet they would.
Absolutely.
I bet they would.
Oh, you got bad drugs? Well, come on in. We'll
on
test
over.
it
We'll
for
test
you.
it for you. Make
That's
sure
what
that
we're
Free of
here
charge.
for.
we don't want you getting bad meth on the street.
Free
We happen
of
to
charge.
have some of those test kits in the back.
The report said Kelly drove to the sheriff's office and handed detectives a clear, crystal-like substance wrapped in aluminum foil. The substance field tested positive for methamphetamine.
Surprise.
The drug Kelly intended to purchase.
You got what you wanted, fool.
Yeah, the violent reaction
The
was
vote was you.
COVID.
Though Kelly could rest easy knowing he bought the real deal, he was nonetheless arrested.
Oh, what? No,
No,
way.
you're
He
lying.
was charged
Oh,
with
that's
drug
entrapment.
possession, walked over to Putnam County Jail, and held on $5,000 bond.
Oh, that's entrapment.
Oh, wait. Officers?
But they did it free of charge because they didn't charge Kelly for the test.
As they shouldn't
didn't
have.
charge him.
No. And what's great about this is then they go and released a public statement.
Yes, I love this.
The public statement said, "Remember, our detectives are always ready to assist anyone who believes they were misled in their illegal drug purchase. Public notice. If you believe you were sold bad drugs, we are offering a free service to test them for you."
I
How
wish we
nice
could follow
is
up.
that?
Huh?
How nice is that?
That's really nice of
That
them.
is
I
the
wish we
biggest-
could follow up and see how many other people took advantage of that program.
Like, oh yeah,
I got
sweet deal,
I got
man.
bad meth. I freaked out. It wasn't the fact that the guy probably did a ton of meth, and that's why he still had some left over a week later. He probably bought a metric ton of that shit.
Right.
Went out there, orbited Jupiter, and lost his shit in Florida someplace.
Maybe it's like the smog dealership too. Is if you don't pass, you don't pay.
Oh yes. If
right.
you don't get high, you don't pay. First one's free though, right? First one's free.
But see, you
Exactly.
realize this could only happen with hard drugs.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
would never happen with weed. Because I've been sold bad weed.
Well, you got sold oregano?
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. When I was a kid.
Bag of basil.
Bag of basil. Why are my lungs burned?
I got burned a couple of times, but
Tastes like pizza.
You're smoking.
First of all, it was just $10.
Right? Yeah.
And second of all, you're like, well, I won't buy from that fool again.
Yeah.
You know, but you're not. There's no violent reaction.
Well, you didn't tell the folks. I spent my allowance on bad weed.
You get
Yeah.
You get ripped off with a bad marijuana buy. The worst that happens is you crave Italian food. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this only happens with bath salts.
I've already got the oregano in my mouth. Yeah. Let's throw some pasta in there too. We're good to go.
I bought pizza toppings.
Yeah, I bought pizza.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's right.
Mom's looking for oregano. Finds your stash.
Jokes on them. Basil's like $4.99 a pound.
Jokes on them.
And this is the ultimate troll too that they would put on Facebook. Is the police department? It's like, I don't give a fuck. Let's fuck with these
What's the worst that could happen? Somebody shows up for free drug testing.
Yeah, they'll get another one.
Fuck it.
Hey, go back up to the picture of this guy, because the look on his face is like
he just shit himself.
I should have known.
Shit, I should have done that.
I should have known. Yeah.
And he looks like he's wearing a barber's cape, a barber's little smock. Right
Oh
there
yeah, the
before
one
they
they
cut
put over
your
here before
hair.
they cut.
Yeah.
I wonder if he showed up shirtless, because I'm imagining in Florida that it's humid there, so he showed up shirtless.
If it was meth.
Yeah, he had no shirt on.
Yeah,
no shoes on.
No way.
No shirt, no shoes.
Probably scratching the skin on his arm.
Oh yeah.
And shit.
Oh yeah.
Get him off me. Get him off me. They're eating my skin.
Got the meth mites.
They got the meth bites. Oh no.
Wow.
They're buried in my skin. Get them out.
That look on his face, and when he goes in front of a judge gonna be like, "Fuck, what?
What?
You did what? Is this even? What do we do with him?
Has
Why
he been
am I a
punished
judge?
enough? He's going to be lambasted on social media for the rest of his life.
Like, why am I still a judge in drug court?
For the rest of his life, he's gonna be conducting business transactions or stuff, like take his car to the mechanic, and the mechanic's gonna be like, "Well, if this doesn't work, you're gonna go to the cops, man."
Right? Or 10 will get you 20. 10 gets you 20. This guy spends some of his money buying drug testing kits for the field, so then when he goes to a drug dealer, he's gonna be like, "Hold on a second here.
Let me check.
Oh, it turned purple. That's the bomb. That's that bomb ass
blue,
meth
it's
right
fake.
there. Yep, it's purple. We're good.
Wow.
We're good."
Thank you, Florida.
That's about as bad as Takashi. This guy tried to snitch him out.
Right?
Look at that. Snitch culture, snitch
He
culture.
did. Following up with the Killin
Takashi,
Brain Cells.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
motherfucker tried to rat on his drug dealer.
Yeah, you don't
the
do
guy
that.
who was supplying him. What the hell, man?
Yep.
And I might add, supplied him properly. It was
Yeah,
methamphetamine.
he did
Yeah,
nothing
he
did
wrong.
not rip him off,
He did nothing
so-
wrong.
Yeah.
No, he sold what he was
Changed my
saying.
mind.
Yeah, change at me, bro. At me.
At me.
At me.
Well, that wraps up episode 9, guys.
Oh, jeez, man.
Episode 9, we're on our way.
All right.
We're on our way.
Wait till we hit triple digits.
I can't fathom that. That hurts my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And I can't even count that high.
I can't either.
I can only count to 10 because that's how many fingers I have.
That's it.
If
And
I take
10
my
toes.
shoes off, then I can count to 20.
There you go. So, yeah, episode 9 was amazing. Some great stuff right there.
Great stuff.
Great
Great
interviews.
episode.
Yeah. Killing Brain Cells. We might have to bring that back. But, God, I don't know if I could sit through another one of those
Nothing
music
like
videos.
that.
We didn't even make it through the
ever
whole
again,
video.
Please.
No, we did
What?
maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then I don't know if we'll have to find another one.
Well,
probably
it's not
pretty
hard.
easy.
We're
There's
gonna
a lot of
shelve
crap
them.
out
There's a
there,
lot of
but-
shit out there. Yeah, there's a ton of
it's
metric
not
ton of
hard.
shit
If
out
you
there.
guys know of a good video that we can break down for you,
Yes.
go ahead and send that over to us.
Send
Let
us that
know.
cringe video. Send us that shit that just makes
We
you go,
will torture
"Oh."
ourselves. We'll be sadistic to ourselves and watch that video. We'll tell you what we think.
Things that make you go, ah!
Yeah,
That's what we want to see.
things that make you just, oh. I can't. I've got a raging clue.
My clue is so raging right now.
My pants just got a little tighter.
I'm not gonna lie, mine may have pitched a tent watching Nicki Minaj.
Oh, no.
I know my mom and them listen to the show. Yep, this is what you birthed.
No. I went backwards.
This is your fault.
I was digging a foxhole.
Did it go up into your belly button area? I got a vagina from watching that.
Tuck it in the waistband. That's all I
Tuck
can
it in the
say.
waistband. 8th grade science class. Pop a random boner. Tuck it in the waistband. Any man out there knows what I'm talking about.
Anyway, guys, we are gonna hit the hay here. We're gonna take off. I know we got some great dinner. We're gonna be
Chicken
doing.
fried steak, dude.
Chicken fried steak that
fried
Ken's
steak.
wife made.
Twix
And,
cookies. Twix
Yeah,
cookies. Yep.
we're gonna be back shortly with our first double-digit episode.
I know.
We got episode
Episode
10 lined
10.
up for you. We got another great interview coming for you, and we got a lot of stuff that. So for our episode 10, we're gonna bring back a lot of stuff that we had previously.
Yes.
So you're not gonna want to miss it. It's gonna be great.
And we'll know if
So-
you miss it.
We will know.
We'll know.
We'll know.
I'll know.
That's right.
You'll be on the naughty list.
We watch you when you sleep.
Start sending you TikTok videos. Just saying. That's going to be on the next thing on my list of things I hate. TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And those Facebook spams.
Oh, yeah.
Send this to 10 of your friends.
They don't even send the boner pills anymore.
Oh, no.
No, that used to be the big
Yeah,
one.
and now that I need them, I don't get them.
Now that I'm at that age,
I got you covered.
I noticed
I got you
that
covered.
you don't send those anymore. Now it's all about this other crap, Facebook games, not boner
Just
pills.
don't call the cops if you don't think it's the right stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you gave me the Viagra.
Anyway, guys, before we leave, just got to give you a little advice. Don't get arrested because we need all the views that we can get. You
Yes.
can't watch any of our shit when you're in jail.
That's right.
So, signing off, this is the Adulting is Hard podcast. I am Kyle, that's Ken, and this is Timmy.
Timmy.
We will be back next time, guys. Take it easy.
See ya.